Grace and peace, everybody. We are back up in this building. We're back. Should have hit the mute button on that one. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday to you all. We are happy Reformation Day. How about that one? We got a good one planned for sure. Your girl, she said she was going to do a video documentary and allegedly just decided she can't do the documentary because she got so much good information, so much Christ honoring, God glorifying rumors to spread and slander to smear. So we're going to go back and check her out. Grace and peace. Thank y'all, everybody who's already jumped into the best live chat on the internet. By the way, we are playing bingo. So the link is already in the chat. It's also a part of the description of this video. So we got that as well. Shout out to who's everybody jumped already up in here. She needs to look in the mirror. Shout out. I appreciate you so much for that. What do we have here? Y'all got some great names for Candace, man. I'm telling you. Cuckoo Candace. I love it. Thank you so much. Movie King. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for stopping by on this afternoon. What's Eric talking about here? Are you still going to Pilgrim's Book? No, it starts on Tuesday. It starts on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. Generally wanted to know. Book right here. We're going to be doing Pilgrim's Progress. I have Pilgrim's Progress, the modern English version. It also has Pilgrim's Progress 2 in it as well. And of course, it's by John Bunyan. Somebody asked me to talk about that. So that is the book. And we're starting it on Tuesday. This Tuesday coming up. All right. Shout out to you, Avenger in the building number 4. Make sure, hey, when you hit the like button, make sure you tell us what like you are. Oh my gosh. Oh, you enjoyed Candace Jeopardy? Yeah, that was a lot of fun last night. We played Candace Jeopardy. Hey, look, we got to make fun of this thing. We got to. If you don't make fun of it, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing if you're not making fun of it? Because we can't take her serious. Am I supposed to take her seriously? Please help me understand that. So either we make fun of it or you got to take it seriously. And you haven't convinced me that I have to take it seriously. So there's that. All right. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, Avengers Assembled. Always stopping through. There's Mr. B5 up in the building. What did Ruben say? Go figure. A demon would come out on Halloween. I see what you did there. Well played. Well played there. What is Lady 007 saying here? I would play bingo, but I have to mow the grass while listening. Well, hey, get the grass done because you're taking care of your own yard. I appreciate it. And we will save bingo for you nonetheless. Thank you so much for tuning in, even if you're listening while you're cutting the grass. Love your show. Keep up the amazing work. So glad you keep the Lord in the center where he belongs. Thank you so much, Anne Marie 182. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. What do we got here? What is Just Rhonda saying? Hey, Jay Witt Podcast in the mods and chat. Jason, I just emailed a link to you in an interview that Fort Witnesses gave to one of our local channels. Will everyone please send prayers up for these people? Absolutely. Let me real quick see what it is. We got time. What are we talking about? Let's see. Shout out to everybody who's already jumped in. Thank y'all so much for popping in with us. Oh, I think you mentioned this or somebody mentioned this. How long is this? Oh, it's too long. Darn it. Wish I started this earlier. I'm going to drop the link in here. This is 4 witnesses that are speaking about what happened on the day Charlie Kirk was murdered. And I would love to watch it. Maybe we'll watch it afterwards. How about that? I'm still going to drop it in the chat. Just Rhonda, if you remind me. But I'll leave it open over here and we can hopefully check it out afterwards. I would like to see that for sure. Honey Bun Empress, what's going on? Grace and peace to you as well. Oh, mercy. Here goes the president firstborn who didn't want me to come up there and see her. Why did she text me right when I get in the booth? Why did she do that? I'm going to send her a picture of what I'm doing. She's telling me to call her. She could have called me all day. I tell you, man. But I do love her. What's going on, Ruben? It says, hey, Jay Witt, just curious. Do you think that the role of her church to call out her use of religion in all of no, because I don't think she's actually. I think she's a. I don't. I would. Well, I don't know much about her church, so I don't believe that she actually attends on a regular basis. I'm sorry. I believe she attends a religious institution or religious facility, but they're not involved in this woman's life at all. I can't believe somebody who wants the best for the community would allow her to continue to behave like that. So, no, to answer your question, I don't think her church is involved, and I don't think she's really involved in her church. And that's my little 2 cents. Old lady says she's working while she's listening. I like it. I like it. We'll try to make sure you have something to listen to. That's our goal. That's our goal over here at the J-Wit podcast. Like, why are you texting me, child? Literally all day. She's just leaving work. Shout out to my child. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Thank you so much, Girl Dad Cooking Up Deliciousness. Boy, that name right there, if that's not a specific name, I'm telling you, man, that name is specific. So look, I'm a girl dad and I'm cooking. And what I'm cooking is delicious. I love it. Y'all, we were watching what's his name? Christian Johnson, the comedian that talks about people cooking and stuff like that. That guy is so funny to me. We just need that kind of comedy in our lives. We just need that. We need that kind of comedy in our lives all the time. Matter of fact, I think we could. Let's pull this in. I think we got time. Let me pull this in. I do believe we'll have time to play this and see what these witnesses to Charlie Kirk's death were saying to the news. I believe we just have time, and we can stop and we can just wait. Please know what? Please know what? What? No. Here, let's bring this in real quick. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear.
Conversation and ideas turned into a public assassination on the campus of Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk was gunned down in front of thousands of people who were there to see him during his college campus tour. But these four, who did not know each other before that day, agreed to come back to the campus and sit down with me and talk about what they saw, how they have been coping, and what that incident taught them about America today.
People were running everywhere, shouting.
Four strangers forever linked by a single moment they can't unsee at Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong tour. Jason Behunin, Christian Overton, Kurt Lichty, and 15-year-old Carter Lloyd all stood somewhere in the crowd on September 10th. Jason is in the red hat in this picture, just off to Charlie's right.
When I was coming into UVU, I hadn't been following Charlie Kirk very much at all, except for the last few months. I didn't really know much about Turning Point or anything like that. I was like, oh, he still has tickets. I checked online and went to UVU and got the ticket, or went to Turning Point, got the tickets to come in, and came in about 45 minutes early and worked my way all the way down into the front row.
A rally-like energy surrounding a speaker others had followed for years.
I was just to Charlie's right, maybe 30, 40 feet up, and the excitement was there. It was palpable, the energy. We were cheering and fist bumping. The charisma and the charm and the wisdom out of this guy is just incredible.
Christian, where were you in relation to the stage, to the tent, and what do you remember about it?
We noticed that there was a little place where you could stand off from the stage, and so I said, well, why don't you stay here? I'll run down and talk to the security that were coming in at that time to see if we could stand there. And we got down there and I talked to him and then waved him to come down. So that's where we were at, and we waited about a half hour, really excited. We kept looking at each other going, are you kidding me? We're right here off the stage, this is amazing. And about a half hour after is when Charlie arrived. He started throwing out hats, and then he had given one to my son, personally handed it to my son. And I remember him taking off his hat and putting the 47 hat on his head. And man, we were just excited.
Carter, you're the youngest one here. Tell me how old you are.
I'm 15.
You're 15. Why did you decide to go out there that day?
My mom and sister, they love politics a lot, and like our family is just like very into politics. And I remember my mom telling us in St. George that he was coming to UVU, so we thought, we all agree with Charlie, so we're like, why not go and see him?
Tell me again where in relation you were to the stage and what you remember when everything started to happen.
I remember, it's crazy when you experience something like so crazy, your mind remembers like simple things that aren't very simple to you anymore. Like I remember turning around to see my mom smiling while recording. I remember like seeing a book on the ground, just like Charlie's book. People chanting USA.
Then, in a single second, at 2:23 p.m., the sound that changed everything.
When the pop went off, it was almost impossible to process that what's happening. There's no way this is happening here. And we took a knee. I was there with my son, took a knee immediately. Our first thought was, this is a mass shooting. There's going to be more shots, so let's be careful. Let's watch out. Can we find the shooter? And then when we only heard that first shot, we knew, okay, this was targeted specifically for Charlie. So now let's get people out of here. Let's clear the place. And still on our way walking to find my other son, who was on campus as well, we were just dumbfounded, shocked, in total disbelief of what had just happened.
About the time that the second student came up to the mic, we just moments after heard the shot. The shot came from the left side, and I looked over just like that, and I thought, wow, isn't that funny? Somebody lit off a firework. It's really what it sounded like somebody just lit a firework. And I went right back to look at Charlie, and that's where I saw the hole in his neck. And I immediately at that point grabbed my son and took him down. Much like her just said, I mean, we didn't know if there was going to be shots to follow or what. At that point, it was all a matter of how do we get out of here? What's the safest way? And obviously there was a lot of people trying to do the same. So,
do you replay that moment in time? Have you replayed it in your mind?
In the most unexpected times, which is so odd, because I like to think that I'm pretty resilient. However, it does resurface in unexpected times that is played out.
I didn't know what to think. I actually kind of just went numb at the point. I didn't know what was going on. Just everybody started yelling and screaming. I was numb. I was very confused. Very, very confused. I didn't know what had happened. I had heard shots before, but it just didn't seem like this was the place that something like that would happen.
So there's a lot of cheering going on, and then this gunshot rings out. Then what do you remember about the next few moments?
I looked to my left, and like he said, he thought it was a firework. My family just said we were waiting for confetti to pop out until I look at Charlie, and his face is it's just the light goes out of his eyes. I remember falling to the ground. I'm sorry. And I see my mom's face as she's hyperventilating. And I see my older sister Jordan, and just her face in absolute shock. I remember a man jumped on top of my sister's yelling, "Stay down." And then when I looked back to where Charlie was, I see his body getting carried out, covered in blood. And you just feel absolute terror. I just remember thinking, am I gonna die? Or are they gonna keep on shooting?
The cheers collapsed into chaos. Kurt is a combat veteran and former law enforcement officer.
Did you actually see Charlie when he was hit? Did you see it?
We did. We saw Charlie, and I'm a former police, former military, I'm a combat veteran, and I knew as soon as he got hit, he was dead. And when they said on the news that they were trying to help him, I was praying to God that they could come up with a miracle. God can do miracles, but when I saw him get hit, I knew he was gone. He was dead on impact.
One of Kurt's sons was on the other side of campus.
It was chaos. It was chaos. I was still processing. I called his wrong phone number 18 times and he wasn't answering. So then I started freaking out. but we were able to connect. People were running everywhere, shouting.
As police locked down campus, Kurt and his two sons began helping others.
Mr. Rogers says try to find those who are helping in a disaster like this. So we tried to find people we could help, people who were crying, tried to console them, tried to get people to get rides, call their mom. And then once we were together, me and my sons, we called their mama and made sure we got off campus before everything was locked down.
All four witnesses left with images that still won't fade, and the process of healing has been messy and personal.
How have you been coping and getting through this?
The first couple weeks, couldn't sleep. I was up till 2 a.m. trying to correct people online who were saying stupid things about what was going on and what they saw and what they know about UVU. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is my school. This is my kid's school. So I thought that was my mission, just to correct every moron on the internet. It's too many. But like Christian said, the only path forward is healing and helping.
Christian started a Facebook support group for anyone who was there to join.
Tell me about the group and why you started it, and has that been helping you cope?
Absolutely, it has. I knew that my path to healing, even immediately after what I had witnessed, would be to attempt to help others, try to process and try to be there as a support while I was trying to figure out how I was going to come to grips with dealing it on my own terms. And so from a therapy standpoint, I think that has helped me quite a lot.
How about your son? Tell me how old your son is. He was here as well on that day. How is he doing, and how are you helping him?
We haven't had a lot of discussion. I've given him his space. We've had him in therapy as well. He's going to have to, and he's obviously knows that I'm here for him when he's ready to talk, when that time becomes, apparent for him. But right now, it's a tough thing to deal with. Is
it fair to say that more than a month later, you're still kind of figuring out how you're going to
absolutely
deal with this?
Yeah, no question.
And your son too.
And him as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And has this event changed you and your family?
Without a doubt, absolutely. I was making the comment earlier, I like to think that I'm pretty resilient, but it seems that at some of the least expected times it will resurface and catch you by surprise.
I kind of buried it down. I'm still processing it. I've not ever got over it. It's probably something I will never get over. I think about the event every time I drive by UVU. I try not to look at the old pictures that I have on my phone of the videos of that day and stuff like that. And I went home and I just kind of buried it down. I never really talked about it to anybody except for Christian here and my wife, and that was it. I can't look at UVU anymore. It's hard to look at UVU as you're driving down because I witnessed something that was tragic. It's hard to think about it.
Carter, how have you been processing this traumatic thing that happened really in front of you all in person,
I like
but in
this
front
reporter,
of the world
though.
too? Everyone saw the video. How have you been processing it?
It was hard the first 2 weeks. It was really hard. I still think about it to this day. Sometimes it's the first thing I think about in the morning, or like if there's a loud sound in like my classroom, that I don't do good with those. Plus I've been processing it is just really hard because normal things that were normal to you aren't very normal anymore. Like sometimes I see like a UVU sign that I just think of the shooting. Or I was talking to my mom about this, like how we can't do fireworks because that just brings us back, and just it was hard processing it.
Carter, still in high school, says finding purpose has been its own kind of therapy. She helped start a Turning Point USA chapter at her school.
It united us as students, as kids of the country, like what Charlie wanted us to do. We've had more people join the club, and we're just really excited because I see the patriotism and the passion in the people in the club.
You could be doing anything, you know. What do you get out of being involved in this chapter for you personally?
I think it's therapeutic. I think it's a lot better than sitting on the couch and scrolling on TikTok and it's just nice seeing good in the world. It's something that I need to see because what I saw was not good.
Processing the shooting has also meant reckoning with what justice should look like.
Do you think death penalty is justified if convicted? What's your take on this being a death penalty case here in Utah?
Yeah, I align with Charlie on the death penalty. The death penalty really is about valuing life. For those who don't value life enough to take someone else's life, there needs to be the consequence for that. So the death penalty, I think, is the right decision.
I used to work for Department of Corrections, so I worked death row, and I've seen these people, and I've seen people that have been sentenced to death. And what bugs me the most is that they get convicted and sentenced to a death penalty, and then there's years they sit. And most of them just, you know, until last year, I believe, they just expire on, you know, of natural causes before they see the penalty.
It's hard because it's harsh, but also you do need justice. I think it's okay for the death penalty because it not only was just killing Charlie, but it was attack on the American people's rights and speech. And just to think that we were killed just about speaking on our opinion is a very dangerous and scary thing. So I think it's a good balance. Like, too much justice is bad, and too much mercy, we won't have justice. So we just need a good balance.
Even with everything they've seen, none of them want fear to win.
This isn't going to detour me because good will always outweigh evil in the world, and we can't live live in fear.
When you think about that day, what emotion wins out for you now as you sit here today?
Hope for a better tomorrow, hope for a greater cause to prevail, for more love, for more coming together in unity.
I'm still reeling from the deep, deep loss, but choosing hope like Christian, it's the only way forward.
Has your feelings since that day changed? You know, sort of what emotion is winning out for you right now?
I wish I had more hope than fear right now. I definitely am living in fear, but I don't want to change that. I definitely want to take my next steps in faith. But seeing how people coming together to support and comfort us and other people definitely gives me hope.
I hope we could all heal from this and come together and for the greater good, for the United States to move forward. I just think we should all get behind one another and keep moving forward.
For someone that was not there that day, you were there that day. What do you think, what do you tell that person that wasn't there?
For somebody who was there, life is fragile. It's a meaningless assassination that happened, unfortunately. But we should still have those open debates. It doesn't matter if it's politics or about school or whatever, but have open debates. If you have a friend who's a liberal or a Republican or whatever, who cares? Have that open discussion with them. You know, see what their thoughts are. And if they don't agree with you, move on and go fishing. Who cares?
If you're being honest, did you feel that way before September 10th?
Oh, yes and no. I really don't care what's going on in the world right now, except in my little bubble. And my wife, my family and stuff, I don't care what's going on. But this has opened my eyes to there's a lot more going on than what I actually see. And so it's kind of opened my eyes to what's going on in the world right now. You know, unfortunately, we can't have that debate without, a threat of violence somewhere, coming from somewhere. And I'm kind of hoping that we can move on and heal from this and have that open discussion in front of people without the fear of violence of some sort.
To have courage to stand up for what's right and also learn how to speak to people who you may not agree with. I think we think in America that if I'm Republican, I can't be friends with a Democrat. I think we need to learn how to debate and talk to each other respectfully.
What do you tell all those people out there that weren't at that event? how it has impacted you or changed you in any way.
How much our world has changed and how we should pay more attention to what's happening instead of caring about stupid things.
That's hard to do though, isn't it? It's so easy to just kind of revert back to the mean and to maybe say the thing that we shouldn't say. How do we do that?
Getting off your phone, joining clubs. I'm starting to join clubs, and I used to think that was weird, but no. I've deleted TikTok, and I think it's the most stupidest app ever. Like, experience the world, real world, and talk to people face to face, and I want to talk to people more.
What do you say to someone that doesn't agree with your point of view on politics or the world? What do you say to that person today?
Charlie set a good example of asking questions. And I think a lot of times if you ask questions and help them find out for themselves what they believe or where there's a mismatch in their words and their actions, I think they can get to the bottom of it. So instead of criticizing or just demanding that you're right, asking good questions and getting more educated.
It shouldn't matter. We all are human. We all have our interests in life. We all strive for certain things and goals that are special to us as an individual. And why does that make him a little bit different? Because he sees the world a little bit differently than me. You know, I think we should all just come together and move on.
What do you say to someone that doesn't agree with you today?
That they're, I've always believed that if you approach anyone or any discussion from a place from your heart, place of love, that regardless of the message it gets through or whatever you're disagreeing or agreeing on, they know you care.
What do you tell someone that doesn't see things the way exactly you do?
Ask them genuine questions, just like why and like what made you believe that, and I hear them out instead of getting mad or just going crazy on them. I treat them like a normal human being. I treat them as my friend, and they're no different from me. We're all just trying to get through this life and stay strong. I have so many friends that have different beliefs than me in religion and politics, but I treat them exactly how I'd want to be treated.
For those who were there, September 10th will always be the day a debate turned into a crime scene and a reminder for them of how quickly conversation turned into violence. They all saw the exact same thing, but are processing it very, very differently. As they walked away from this, the event changed them, but they also say they agree on one thing: they still believe in the power of conversation. I'm Jim Spiewak. Thank you for watching this YouTube original.
Shout out. That was good. Thank you so much. I do apologize, whoever recommended it to me. I think it was just Rhonda. Thank you so much for that. That was good. That was encouraging. Shout out to those people. I do want to also real quick, before we get too far afield, before the shenanigans get started, real quick, here's my bingo board for the day. Get your bingo board. Let's get ready to have some fun here. Somebody said that we make too much fun of this stuff. I said, Ann, what's your point? What are we supposed to do? All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go top to bottom. We got my gut, trust me, bro, hunch, generous eyes, Charlie. Then we got TPUSA, a random text, Erica, I have messages, demon possession, Trump, my sources, of course, free space. I just sense, Jewish donors, I'm just asking questions. They acclaim without receipts, betrayal. I know, you know, that silliness. I don't know, but I know, whatever. Bees, leaks, grift, tip line, shout out, and Kanye West. If y'all want to play this, if you think of some other words that we need, I will make I'm gonna put you know what, just shoot me an email with any other words you want me to add, because I'll just add them to the list. Some of them could be retired, because I do think that bees might need to be retired personally. And I also think that that's just one of them, I think, that probably could go away, is bees. But the Lord knows Kanye don't need to go away, because we know that's gonna happen. As sure as today happens, we know Kanye gonna pop up into it. But anyway, shoot me if you just like 2 or 3 more. Don't send me like 95 words, because we're not gonna do that. And don't send me a word cloud. Do not send me a word cloud. So Some of them I might retire just because I'm pretty sure that we're going to go into extra innings of shenanigans. So anyway, that's my bingo board. Hopefully you have one. Let's see what we got. As far as I can tell, they have not started over there in Candyland as of yet, but that's okay. Don't forget the word weird. I think the word weird is actually on, because there's like, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, I want to say there's like 35 words that I put into the bingo board maker. I think it's like 35. Let me pull it up real quick. So therefore, I think most of them is just, I don't get all the words, of course, because all right, let's see what we got here. Got off task that quickly. Yeah, it looks like I have about 36 words. So, and those are, let me see if I can share them with y'all real quick. Yeah, it should be a little bit more. It should have numbered them. Here, let me tell it to number them real quick. This is a very professional show, Jason. 40. Okay, I wasn't totally wrong. All right, real quick. So, okay, they haven't started over there on Candyland. So, yeah, I got several words like, dock somebody, military, I just sense, I don't like. There's weird. Weird is in here. Yeah, weird is already there. Call out a random country. Yeah. So some of them I think I'm just going to retire. So next week, if we play next week, we'll have some newer words. Newer words. That's what we need. We need word remodeling. We'll do some word remodeling, if we will. That's what we'll do, because that's what we're about over here. Good to see everybody. Thank y'all so much for jumping into the best live chat on the internet. Please make sure you hit the like button. Shout out. It's very kind. Thank you, 2025 for the 19 euro super chat. Keep fighting and hope for a better tomorrow. That's what one of the young men said in that video. And do it for Charlie. Do it for the betterment of our country. Do it for the betterment of society. I agree. I like it. Thank you so very much for the very kind and very gracious super chat. Thank you so much. We're over in the UK. We're international over here at Whitaker Park. We're all over the place. We're everywhere. I'm looking at, so yeah. Oh, by the way, yesterday I had to pick up Chief Executive Second Born. I was out running errands with Second Born. I was listening to her podcast through what's his name? Aaron Trolls. I had no idea what y'all heard yesterday. That was very troubling. That was troubling. I was like, what in the world is this? What is she talking about? Trying to justify the plane, the Egyptian plane. I'm like, just stop. Just stop. Stop trying to make something out of it that's not. Because you know what it is to me? A lot of the things that she's picking at are just coincidence. They're just something that you're looking at. It's just it. There's nothing more to it. It's just, oh, right now, that person was touching his baseball cap, 32 seconds and 32 seconds later, something happened. Did he tell the person? So that means the person that did it was 32, was, and the bullet was traveling this far. So that means it was 32 inches away. Like, that's just dumb. It's just like this random series of random events that she tries to cobble together into a story. And the funny thing and the bad thing is probably nobody in the FBI, nobody in law enforcement or legal authority is even listening to her. It's just the candies that are listening, which is extra crazy, extra crazy. So when all this is done, nothing will happen of it. Nothing. And I've asked this before. Can somebody show me one of her investigations that somebody's in jail? That something has changed somebody's life besides hers, because she's getting paid. But like, where's somebody's life being changed, having been changed by this? That's what I want to see. and nobody's been able to show me yet. Because I don't think any of it ever will. That's the thing. It's not going to change anybody's life at all. Oh, I already know what she's going to say today. It's war on quote unquote Christianity. It's war on Zionists. It's war on, I mean, the title is Christian Zionism. So we already know where this is going to go. We know it. She got Rob McCoy, BB, and another guy on here. So we already know where it's going. We already know. None of it makes sense. But let's just be 100% honest. Nothing has made sense since Charlie Kirk was hit. Nothing. So let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. It ain't made no sense at all. See, that's how you know she pays attention. He says, Ruben says this, Jay Witt, she was called out for being wrong about the time, and she said it was not a big deal. She was mad and instead says that is why she was right, because so many people called her out. See, because you know that this bothers her. That's why she's suing Nathan Livingstone. That's why she tried to get his content removed. That kind of stuff, because this kind of the call outs, they don't miss their mark. The call outs hit their mark. She's just trying her best to keep quiet so she don't say ouch every time it hit her, because she doesn't like that. She doesn't like getting called out. As much as she wants to be like, oh, this is so great. Oh, no, I think she really does have a problem with it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the best live chat on the internet. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Why does it see? But Jack's 31091. That's just too logical. That's entirely too logical. Why doesn't she worry about what's going on here? She won't mention today
right,
the
guys,
FBI or
if
Dearborn.
Halloween is your thing, then I definitively have a scary story for you, and it's scary because it's not fiction. Okay, this is real life. The assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk. We are now, I believe, extremely close to solving this thing. I think after this episode, you are going to recognize that there is just irrefutable proof that there were, in fact, foreign actors involved. And of course, that implies that our government knows. Our government absolutely knows. We already felt that way. So let's jump right back into this impromptu episode. Welcome back to Candace.
All right, let's go. All right. She's already said FBI, so I already know FBI is going to be on my list. She just knows, so I don't know how she knows these things. We're going to see.
Okay, I want to preface this by letting you guys know that I am positively exhausted. I have been up all night, realizing what we were suddenly on the brink of, stumbled into it. I wouldn't even say accidentally, obviously. This has been my obsession since we all watched Charlie Kirk be executed in front of the world, and then a lot of people lie about it, and a lot of people who were not acting right or grieving right, who were his closest comrades and business partners. And let's be frank, as I get inch closer and closer to discovering the truth, we should recognize that this is pretty dangerous stuff. And my theory now, I feel confident stating that Charlie Kirk was taken out by something much bigger than Turning Point USA organization that he was running, and certainly much bigger than Tyler Robinson on the Low C rooftop, who I don't even think was even stepped foot on the campus that day. And I think another thing that I should mention is just how positively sad it is. We can reflect on how sad it is already that there are so many people in the world who are convinced. They've emailed me. I mean, I've received an unbelievable amount of emails from people that are convinced that Charlie's actually still alive, right? And it's not sad because those people are crazy. They're actually reacting to the lack of emotion and the lack of drive that is coming out of Turning Point USA to figure out who killed him. That's what they're reacting to. So like they came to, okay, this is so unnatural, the reaction of these individuals who were so close to him, that the more logical, sensible conclusion is that they actually know where Charlie is and he's perfectly alive. Yeah, that is how absurd they are acting. Just move on. Just donate to Turning Point USA. This is what Charlie would want. And that's his legacy. So what happened? Why are we here? Why are we live on Friday? I gave up Fridays, but this is so relevant to what's happening, and I wanted to get this information out so that everyone in the world who has been helping me investigate could have the weekend to do research and we can information share. The answer to the centralized intelligence agency, as we have said, is the decentralized intelligence agency. We must decentralize ourselves to plug out of this utterly demonic system. Anyway, what happened yesterday was, obviously I did the show and I circled back to the Egyptian military plane. I had simply tweeted about it while I was in Wyoming, obviously recognizing that it was not normal that this Egyptian military plane had departed on the morning of Charlie's assassination. Now, I made the mistake of thinking it had departed in the afternoon, and the reaction to it, this is how you always know the give, is they overreact to something and then the military bots make it a trending story. Like, there's no way this was trending, this guy correcting me on the timing. And he tweets it, and the next thing you know, it's trending. Egyptian plane debunked. It was not debunked. I showed you that yesterday. Okay. Thanks to a very brave person, a foreigner actually, who informed me that the people who came in on that plane were not the people that went out on that plane. So where did they go? They were estimating like approximately 18 people were on the plane that came over, and far less were on the way back. Where did these people go? Well, let me tell you something. As you know, because I am relying on you guys for tips, I'm grateful that I have a platform, but I don't exist without you guys. I'm always checking the comments to see if I got something wrong, if I made a mistake, if there's something that I missed. And somebody I just happened to catch gave a live comment right after the show. I was looking at your comments, and he said, "Oh, Candace, that plane we covered, the tail number SUBTT, just so you know, like a year earlier, that plane was in Utah at the same time as Charlie Kirk." In 2024, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty ironic if that's true." I was like, "It's probably not true," except it actually was true. So I started last night and I said, "Okay, maybe that was a coincidence. Let me actually, since I presented that timeline for you every time I came to America, see if it was always near Charlie Kirk, if it was always near some big turning point event, if something was going on with Turning Point." And the answer, you guys, if you thought once was maybe, twice was a coincidence, 3 times we have a conspiracy, we're at about every single time that we could go back on this plane, and we're not done, obviously. There was something happening at Turning Point USA that was neighboring, okay, in the same city. So I'm going to take you through this timeline. This is so shocking to me, and I've color coordinated this timeline. I'm sure there are going to be some errors. Pick them up, Zionists. Go hard. Make a trend. For the rest of us, let me know if there's slight adjustments that need to be made. But I think we've done a pretty thorough job. So I'm going to let you know what you are looking at, okay? Tail number, there's 2 actually.
Y'all, I'm sorry. Just a random plane. Can you imagine thinking that you're cooking? You are Inspector Gadget, Perry Mason, Columbo, all of them just mixed together. Can you imagine talking about a random plane, getting random advice from people off the internet in your text and your tip line, thinking that this is a cogent argument? And she declares up and down, left and right, that she is getting closer. She's going to discover who it is. I guarantee you one day next week or whenever, she's going to be like, stay tuned next week. Stay tuned for next episode. And I'm going to tell you who it is. This poor woman, man. She can't be serious, y'all. She cannot be serious. Oh, Kojak. Oh, you got to throw Kojak in there. Yeah, I'm sorry. How did I miss Kojak? I mean, Shaft. You got to throw every detective in there. She just knows she is cooking, man. She just knows it. Yo, this woman is. Thank y'all.
Egyptian planes, because then somebody else mentioned to me, "Hey, Candace, there was another Egyptian plane that left 3 hours after Egyptian
oh my gosh,
military
another
plane,
one.
that is 3 hours after Charlie was assassinated from Provo, Utah."
Oh my god.
And that tail number is SUBND. And you should take a look at that. What? And I thought to myself, okay, I'll take a look at that.
Stunning
Maybe that's where the rest of the passengers went. Maybe that emptied SUBTT.
Wait, how do you know who was on the plane? Hold on. How does she know who's actually on the plane to start with? She says the rest of the passengers, Ma'am, how do you know who was on the plane to start with? Have you seen the plane manifest? Y'all, this woman is just playing in your faces, y'all. Has she even explained how she knows that Charlie was laid to rest in a Catholic mass? Did she ever explain that? Y'all. Okay, stop.
Left in the morning, and 3 hours after Charlie was assassinated, or maybe it's the next day. I'm sorry, 3 days after. Marcus corrected me in my ear. 3 days after Charlie was assassinated, that's when the rest of the Egyptian crew, whoever was on that plane, departed Provo. So we have 2 tail numbers, and they're going to be color coordinated to make it really easy for you. Okay, tail number SUBND. That's a Gulfstream 4. It's about 12 to 6 passengers. And tail number SUB.
But wait, you said the first one had 18 people on it to start with. Wait, hold on. She said the first plane had 18 people. This says it has a complement of 16. How does it? Did they sit in the gallery? Did they sit on the floor? They were sitting on each other's lap. Y'all, this woman is embarrassing. All the candies. Y'all come on up here to the front of the church. Y'all, this woman is a mess. She said 18. That's what I thought. So this plane doesn't even have a complement of that. It can't have that many people. But I guarantee you, the candies are still believer. And what is this proving? What does it prove? They went to Costco, man. They had to go get some of that 3-gallon size mustard. They don't have that in Egypt. It's very, very simple. Prove me wrong.
BUTT, that's going to be our main one. That's our Falcon 7X.
BUTT
holds about
for
12
butt. See, it was Sir Mix-a-Lot. He likes big butts. That's it. That's what it is. Candace, I figured it out for you. It was Sir Mix-a-Lot. He was saying, baby got back. That's what it was. Sir Mix-a-Lot. He's in Seattle. Come on. It was, oh, come on, fix this.
Now, for those of you who are not jumping around, flying on private jets all the time, the tail number essentially is like the best way to think of it is like a public plane will say American Airlines on it, right? In order for systems to know how planes are moving in the sky, they kind of have to give them a license plate in the sky, so to speak, right? So the tail number
there's a ribbon in the sky.
Plate that
it was Stevie Wonder.
Tail number because it's on the tail of the plane. Okay. We're going to start with, and I'm going to show you this. I'm showing you this just because 2022, as you can see, I haven't made any notes on this because I haven't gotten back that far. But these are the 4 times that BTT, so they're both SU, that BTT was here in 2022. That's the furthest that we can go back on flight radar. Now we're going to go into 2023, and I have included notes that I think might be relevant to the story. So in 2023, Charlie Kirk, I went back on his X feed, and he is hitting hard on Ukraine. I mean, like, he's tweeting out photos of Zelensky half naked because, you know, he used to be an actor. Obviously, he's a homosexual male. He's basically demanding, keep this up the whole time, guys. I want them to be able to look through this. He's basically demanding that we pull out of the Ukrainian war. He's accusing Ukraine and Zelensky of corruption, of financial fraud, of money laundering. You go back and he's just basically declared war on the Ukrainian war, figuratively speaking, okay? And
so let me make sure I have it right. He declared war on the Ukraine. Oh, that's a random country. Yeah, I got to pull. Hold on. We got to pull this up. Okay. So that's just a random country. How did Ukraine, do I have it? I don't have it in here this week. How is Ukraine catching strays now? Oh my gosh, man. So Ukraine is into it. We got Egypt into it and Zionist bots. I honestly, I'm sorry, man. If you take Candace seriously, that is 1,000% your fault. She is telling you right now that she's having a mental episode. If you follow her for advice like this, that's your fault. That's your fault. You are following. It's your fault, man. It's the guy down or the lady down at the bus stop that yells at pigeons. This is the proverbial equivalent of that. So if you follow this person for legal advice or marital advice or who killed Charlie Kirk advice, it's your fault. It's your fault.
And he's not siding on Team Ukraine. He's not pro-Russia, but he's not Team Ukraine. I think that's relevant, obviously, because yeah, when you talk about money laundering around Ukraine and Romania, you're actually stepping on the heels of America, right? You're
Money
actually,
laundering?
that's not something that you can just say when you run this pro-American organization, given the fact that these people run our government. January 10th, 19th, I'm going to also say that I think this is relevant. Rob McCoy hosts the first ever Turning Point USA Faith Pastors Tour of Israel. He's guiding a group of pastors through Jerusalem. On February 20th, I think this might be relevant because the same people that infiltrated or hostilely took over James O'Keefe were involved with Turning Point USA. James O'Keefe was the founder and the president of Project Veritas, and he and Charlie and myself all met at the same time in November.
Does any of this make sense? If this makes sense to you, please tell me in the chat, what in the merciful name of God am I listening to? What is going on here? What in the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories am I listening to? This one, oh wait, she done brought James O'Keefe up in here. Hold on, now that's got to be on my list. A random person? Don't I got random person on here? Oh, for the love. What's wrong with my board? What's wrong with my board, y'all? My bingo board is broken. I'm sorry. There's no way you can take this woman seriously. I mean, you are talking to the meth addict downtown by the bodega. What in the world are we listening to?
November, that David Horowitz Freedom Center event that I was telling you about. James O'Keefe was really young, so we all kind of came up in this movement together and have always been very defensive of one another. So on January 20th, there's this like hostile takeover, what appears to the public at least as a hostile takeover of Project Veritas. James O'Keefe gets pushed out. He's ousted from the board of his own company, and Charlie publicly announces his support for what he perceives, like the rest of the world perceived, was a bit of a hostile takeover. Okay. February 21st, we now have BND, okay? It flies into St. Louis, Missouri, and it lands at 2:38 p.m., and it's going to stay until May. The blue one you're going to see stays longer when it arrives, and then the yellow one will come behind it. BTT will come behind it, okay? So on February 25th, BTT comes in. And BTT, again, they're both flying from Cairo every time, typically through Paris, and it then lands in St. Louis, Missouri. And this is relevant because on February 27th, this person who I hadn't heard of before, named Sean Foyt, I believe I'm saying that correctly, Sean Foyt, is announced as the Turning Point USA Faith Contributor. Now, this guy is in partnership with Rob McCoy still today and to this day at Turning Point USA, doing Turning Point USA Faith stuff. And this is also relevant because by all accounts, this guy is a sleaze. And what I mean is that people were coming forward and saying the money's looking funny with this guy. He's not a true Christian. He's faced accusations of fraud, of embezzlement. I'm painting a picture for you. But to stay on.
So basically the same things people say about you, your husband, and your husband's friend, Andrew Tate. Okay, got you. Just want to make sure I understood correctly.
This Sean Foyt thing is I had to actually look him up. And I saw it on his biography and on Wikipedia, by the way. So I haven't done a deep dive on him by any means, but I was like, I recognize that name. And I recognize that name because many people emailed us after Charlie's assassination, and they thought Sean Foyt was the guy that was standing and cheering USA, USA. And I think he did a video and denied it, but that's the only it's the only way that I was familiar with that name. So look him up on his biography. And it tells us that he was born in Montana. He's a son of a dermatologist. That dermatologist is not named. He's, of course, a Christian Zionist, you guys, that's obvious. But he grew up playing music in a New Apostolic Reformation church, okay? New Apostolic Reformation. Going forward, we're going to term that NAR, N-A-R. Okay.
That's what it's called. It's called the New Apostolic. You're not doing something new, Candace. You're not doing something new. That's what we call NAR, New Apostolic Reformation churches, which are, well, we can have a discussion for 2 days about that. But man, what is she doing? She wants to get somebody to reply to her. I'm telling you, please talk to me. Somebody say something to me.
And he would record prayers and prophecies that were made and impacted Foyt, it says, as he was growing up, okay? He was a part of the NAR Apostle Shay On's prayer rallies, it tells us, okay? Point being is that he is involved with NAR. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that is because there is a Twitter user, an ex-user named Melissa. She goes by Mel, and she uses the handle Village Crazy Lady. And her and I have been speaking because you just know when someone is a real one out there. And I've been watching her, and I'm like, okay, she's on it. She's like me. She's a mom. We're not messing around with what's going on in the world today. And she's been calling people out left and right. She's not pro-Israel. She's also a Catholic. And when her and I spoke about this turning point thing, she said, "Are you familiar with NAR?" And I said, "No, Mel, I'm not familiar with NAR. What's NAR?" And she was like, "I'm looking into this. I'm digging into this NAR thing. There's something here. If we start talking about Rob McCoy, something's going on here." So she's going down the figurative NAR rabbit hole. If you don't know who she is, you should follow her. I told her to pin whatever she's learned about NAR to the top of her profile today. That's Village Crazy Lady. But that's the introduction. So NAR is somehow going to be relevant. Again, we are at an early phase in this investigation. Let's jump.
You don't even know. How do you know it's going to be relevant if you don't even know what it is? You just found out literally 8 seconds ago. But now you know it's going to be relevant. The New Apostolic Reformation is a problem for sure. But how in the world are you to please, y'all, please pray these people can sue her? Because I mean, she's just putting she's putting a target on every one of these people, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not. There's no reason for them to be mentioned in this crazy woman's, which I think is crazy that she follows somebody named the Village Crazy Lady.
I'm back into our timeline here. Okay. So he is announced that he is going to be heading up. Rob McCoy is obviously now the co-chair of TPUSA Faith. He brings on Sean Foyt, presumably, and on February 28th, Sean Foyt it's announced that he's going to be heading up the Kingdom of the Capital Tour. So he becomes the face of this Turning Point USA Faith Tour. So, and of course, the first event that they do, as I just mentioned to you, that plane gets to St. Louis, Missouri, and sure enough, Sean Foyt is there. TPUS Faith is there. They are at the Capitol, and they're doing this event. Okay, so interesting. I went, okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's keep going. Now I'm just going to scroll through this because this is timeline one for myself.
It's clear that she's just playing. She's literally she's just running up the shot clock. There's nothing here. What are you talking about, Candace? You're just running up the shot clock and you're impeding me at getting bingo. I don't understand why you're hating on me getting bingo. I just don't understand it. I'm very disappointed. This is not working. This is a waste of everybody's time, Candace. I'm very disappointed in you. Shout out to Jana Patrice. I had to get off of the mower. I'm going to pray that God shut her up. However, he needs to do it. The amount of disrespect for Charlie is baffling. Shout out and thank you for the $5 super. I'm right there with you. Like, what in the world is going on here? The way she pronounces apostolic is crazy, which, by the way, is not a new word. They say apostolic in the Catholic creeds. And like, why can you not pronounce apostolic? Like, why is that a deal? But you know what? I'm not going to even, never mind. Let's go. Shout out. Thank you so much for the $2 super. Forever blossoming. Let's go blossom this thing. Let's go.
Because it's going to keep building everywhere that Charlie is speaking, Charlie is speaking. Let's look at March 24th, 2027. I'll tell you why this is interesting to me.
She said
Turning Point USA has their first ever Faith Pastor Summit. I spelled that wrong there. The Faith Pastor Summit, and it's in Nashville, and it's headed by Rob McCoy. And lo and behold, while they're here, there is a trans shooting, a traumatizing trans shooting in which the feds engage in a cover-up regarding, okay? You remember this shooting because it was at a Christian elementary school.
Why does everything she says sound like she's accusing somebody? Christian elementary school. Like, why do you have to pronounce every word like you're accusing somebody? Like, great day, man. What is wrong with you?
Christian elementary school. It was incredibly traumatizing for all of us that lived here, and then doubly traumatizing, not just because we have kids, but because then we got no answers. They just wanted to hush this. This is just a crazy trans person. Nothing else to see here. Goodbye. Now, what I will say to you is Rob McCoy has got some terrible luck is what I would say, because he's there when that trans shooting happens. Obviously, he's very close to Charlie Kirk when his shooting happens. He says I was his pastor. But also, I had received a tip that Rob McCoy, who is from Thousand Oaks, which happens to be a very corrupt place, was very involved in a shooting that happened in 2018. When I say involved, I should rephrase that. I don't mean like he shot anybody. What I mean is that he was the nearby pastor of a Thousand Oaks shooting that happened at some bar where a veteran shot up a bar. Skylar, can you pull this up? Because I don't even remember the details. We received an email and they were like,
then why are you even saying
very
it?
close with the shooter's mom. The shooter was a veteran. They killed 2 Marine vets among some other, it looks like, bystanders at this bar. What bar was it? Something Bar and Grill. I'll look it up in a second if you don't have that quickly.
She about to dox the Bar and Grill now, man. She about to put the Bar and Grill under the. Why does this matter?
2018. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure
Lord,
we have
please
the
help
facts
this
of when
woman.
this
Save
happened.
this woman.
2018.
What's that got to do with anything?
Shooting. I can't hear you for talking in my ear, but yeah, there was a shooting here at the Borderline Bar. Okay, this is on November 7th, 2018. A former machine gunner in the Marines. Okay. Opens fire on patrons at the Borderline Bar and Grill. It kills 11 patrons and then himself. And then when you hear who the victims are, there's some other Marines and some veterans there. So I'm starting to get the feeling.
But where's Rob McCoy though? Why are you inserting Rob McCoy into this? Maybe it's a military bar. Maybe it's a law enforcement military bar that they go to. What? Imagine thinking that this is real investigation.
I don't know about the rest of you, and these are Candace's musings, that maybe these kind of random shootings that instantly get covered up, but always involve like an Army veteran, aren't actually that random, and maybe the military is involved in them. Like there's a target inside of there. Okay, that's a segue. Going back to Rob McCoy and him having bad luck, this person tells me that he knew the shooter's mother, was his pastor or something, happy to correct that, but then also got close to the victim's family, and the victim's family got upset with.
Where do you get this proof from? See, this is what I'm talking about. Where is your evidence? You're just saying it. You're literally just saying it. You haven't even brought up something that says, oh, Rob McCoy was hanging out with the family, or Rob McCoy is a friend of the whatever. There's no evidence to this. You're just saying it. You're just saying it. What stops her from saying anything else with no evidence, no proof?
Tim, anyways, just put that in your back pocket. I just thought that I should mention that, like, he's got some luck, or bad luck rather, okay? March 27th, like I said, is when we have that trans shooting at Covenant Elementary School in Nashville. And then we go back into our timeline. You can see on April 1st, we have that plane. We're going to call it the yellow plane for the sake of this timeline. The yellow plane flies from Cairo, always via Paris, to St. Louis again, and it lands in Missouri. And guess what? April 2nd, TPUS Faith, co-chaired by Rob McCoy, kicks off their tour with an event headed by Sean Foy in Jefferson City, Missouri, the very next day while this plane is here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, April 6th, it leaves and always goes through Delaware when it leaves and goes back to Cairo. Okay, now I am just kind of putting down for you here again other places where Charlie's here, where he is, because I know that this is going to build into my timeline. You know, I'm looking, and Sean Foy is in Israel related to some more faith stuff. I don't know if Turning Point sponsors that trip or not. That's why I put a note there. Charlie is speaking in Sacramento on the April 13th. Yellow plane again comes in. This time.
What does that matter? What does it? Yo, she actually thinks she's cooking. Y'all, come on.
Flies to Kansas. Cairo to Kansas. And on April 23rd, Sean Foy heads up the TPUSA Faith Kingdom to the Capital Tour event, which happens to be in Topeka, Kansas. So I have a question. How did he get here from Israel? Did he fly into Wichita the day before and then make the very short drive to make his event? I don't know, but I'm putting it in there because once again, we have this plane in here and we've got another TPUSA Faith event that is happening right around the corner. It's about, I think, just under 2 hours to get from Wichita, Kansas to Topeka, where the TPUSA Faith Kingdom of the Capital Tour continues. Okay. April 3rd,
Why?
BND is in here does a test flight. I think I might have dropped this blue thing. Oh.
Okay, I gotta stop. Okay, let's see. Shout out to the most electrifying live chat on the internet. What does forever blossoming say? LMBO. The way she pronounces apostolic. See you running in here with the $2 says this. Her formula, old news, rant, commercial, fake news. I don't disagree. Again, she makes up lies as she goes. She looks up left. What does this have to do with anything? Anything? So what? A plane was in wherever it was. Like, can you imagine being a plane owner and you got these now lunatics calling out your plane license plate number? Like, what the heck, man? This is crazy work, man. McCoy is on her list because they told her to shut up. I agree. But I think also she sees McCoy as being one that will say something to her and break that gag order or put something out there that doesn't need to be said. That's why I think she keeps picking on him. But I think you're 1,000% on point. You know what? She had messages. She said, I have messages. I'm going to go with general size because I just want to. I just feel like it. I know she said hunch, or I'm sorry, sense. And I think she also said hunch, but I'm not 100% certain. I might just give it to myself. Man, how did she not say bees yet, though? If she says BB, I'm going to take it. I'm just going to let y'all know that because I'm just going to take it because that's what I'm going to do. Oh, there we go. Claim without receipts. There we go. Perfect. Did she say betrayal yet? Did she say betrayal? You need bees too. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna cheat in a minute. I'm gonna cheat in a second. I'm gonna cheat with the next super chat. I'm just gonna interpret it as claim without receipts. I'm just gonna interpret the next super chat as anything with bees. That's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna do it. This is ridiculous, y'all. I think we're watching a lunatic. I really do. I'm not saying that and just to be mean, but my gosh, in the morning, you actually think you're cooking? This is insane.
Oh, yeah, it's been here the whole time. That's right. This plane stays here a long time. So it's been here from February 21st, and then it's going to head out, and it just leaves on May 9th, okay? That's going to end 2023. Literally every time this plane is here, I can pin a TPUSA faith event that's happening, which is like some luck, right? February 9th, we're going now into 2024.
Imagine trying to... No, this is craziness, man. I bet you every time there was a TPUSA event, there was a third grader who did not score well on his or her spelling test. There you go. Yeah, there you go. I can promise you every time within a 5-mile radius of a TPUSA event, there was somebody who did not wear their seatbelt. I guarantee you, they drove and they did not have their seatbelt on. There you go. There you go. They was trusting God. They were trusting God. So TPUSA is teaching people to drive without seatbelts because I know that 5-mile radius of any event at TPUSA, there was one person driving without their seatbelt on. And TPUSA is teaching people to not wear their seatbelts. There you go. There you go.
I guess actually let's start with January. On January 3rd, 2024, Mikey McCoy is promoted to the Chief of Staff of Turning Point USA. I have the internal email, so that's a fact. He gets the promotion, and now you can see, I guess, the McCoys are much more involved in Turning Point USA. I did not know them, so this has to be the year that they got super involved because I'm going to do my last speech for them in June of 2024. Anyways, he gets promoted to Chief of Staff, and then on February 8th.
It's interesting that she treats it like she still worked there. Ma'am, they might have still hired gunned you or had you come in as a mercenary, but man, please understand, you weren't working there. I think she might have been under contract, but I digress.
Campus tour is publicly announced. I'm doing it with him. On February 9th, our plane comes in. Our Egyptian military plane comes in. This time it is headed to Nebraska, and it lands in Nebraska and then flies straight to Lincoln, Nebraska. It lands in Omaha, and then flies straight over to Lincoln, and it stays in Lincoln for a mysterious 5 days. Now, I'm racking my brains. I couldn't find anything going on with Turning Point, but I was like, I bet there's something going on in Turning Point in Lincoln, Nebraska, because that's a pretty precise location for this plane to go to. And lo and behold, Turning Point USA on February 11th, while this is going.
All right. Shout out to Phantom with the $5 super. Israel and Egypt hate each other. They might go to war soon. Egypt does not support the concept of Israel's existence. They only tolerate it. Shout out, man. Thank you so much for that. And because of that super, thank you so much for that very kind $5 super. And Phantom, because of that, I do believe, I'm going to interpret what you wrote. I really believe that you're saying that Israel is going to be attacked by bees. There you go. Bees. Shout out. I gotta get bingo somewhere or another, by hook or by crook. Yeah, so I guess Israel, I guess Charlie, Egypt killed Charlie because Charlie was pro-Israel. So now we got an international conflict. This one, it's interesting to think that this woman thinks she's cooking, but does she know anything about what the plane does when it's not in the United States? Or it's not, playing Sir Mix-a-Lot playing BUTT when it's not here in the United States? What is it doing? Is it just like an international shuttle? Is it? I mean, do they just rent it out? I mean, if you spend $65 million on a plane, you generally don't leave it parked in the garage. You're going to rent it out. You're going to lease it out and allow people to use it because it's got to get some mileage. You got to earn that money back, pay for that thing. So why does she immediately assume that a plane would just sit in a hangar? Like, maybe that's why, and because it gets so many miles, they bring it in for maintenance here in the United States, which is not uncommon. If you follow Bezel T3 on YouTube, he used to be a flight mechanic. He talks about it quite a bit. And I mean, that's not uncommon to bring a plane and for it to stay for a month for general maintenance. That's not uncommon. Or maybe it was getting sold and it's getting retrofitted for a new owner. They want a new interior. I mean, there's a lot of things. This woman thinks she's cooking. Y'all, I'm embarrassed for her.
What's going on?
Green Hearts in the chat.
Starts a chapter in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not kidding. Here's the post now, to be clear, because people will go out and say, oh, they already had events at the University of Nebraska. They had a regional chapter, which in Turning Point lingo, like if there's not enough interest in a certain area, they will develop these regional chapters, and people in that area who are interested in Turning Point USA will work to make events happen. They did not have a Lincoln specific Nebraska chapter, according to their own Instagram, as you can see, until February 11th. This is a chapter Instagram. I should be clear. This is the UNL, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and they're saying it's going to be our first weekly meeting. Here it is. And I think you cut off the bottom. Oh, and it's on the right side. Starting next week, TPUSA at UNL. It is official. Our first weekly meeting. Okay, February 20th, Nebraska City campus. You got it. You got it. I would like to know, if you are a Turning Point USA insider and you are watching the show, who started that chapter? That is very relevant to my research right now. Who started the Lincoln, Nebraska chapter? Because I can't find that. I've looked through. I've tried to see who was the first person. Typically, I think to start a charter chapter, you have to apply. So there's got to be some students, and maybe you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and you can ask around who said, hey, let's start this chapter in Lincoln, Nebraska, all by ourselves. We're not going to be regional anymore. I need to know who that is, okay? So that happens, and then
I really think that she wants to put a target on every aspect of TPUSA. So now that male or female, that group of students that started that chapter, she has now put a bullseye on them. So now everybody and their cousin is all these candies are going to start digging through the trash to find out and just immediately assume something about them. Why does she need to know who started that chapter and not any of the other chapters that she's talked about so far? Why? What's so specific about that one? And if you know the names of those other ones, why do you need to know the names of this? Why did you need to know those? Do you think, like, if it was a student, why do you think something nefarious was going on? She just wants to wreak havoc, man. This woman is evil. There's all the way around.
14th, our plane departs back for Cairo. And this time, BTT departs Cairo, stays in Wilmington for 2 days, and then heads back to Cairo on the 16th. Yeah, okay, so that's February 14th, right? It comes back pretty quickly. On March 29th, BTT, our yellow plane, departs Egypt again, and it comes back to Wichita, Kansas. It lands at 2:19 p.m. in Wichita, Kansas. And guess who was in Kansas that week? I mean, it's just incredible. It is incredible. Charlie Kirk was speaking at the University of Kansas, okay, on April 3rd.
I guarantee you, every time that plane from Egypt was there, somebody got their order wrong at McDonald's. Every time somebody's order was wrong, because while that plane was here, somebody within a 3-mile radius at the local McDonald's with the double drive-through got an order wrong. Every time. Prove me wrong. Look at that face. She looks like she's cooking. Look at that face. Look at that face. That face. She just knows that she's saying something. What are you talking about, Brenda?
So Let me know when you get uncomfortable and you realize these are not coincidences. Okay, this is a conspiracy. This plane is following Turning Point USA Faith and Charlie Kirk or Charlie Kirk, by the way, at those TPUSA Faith events. It's possible Charlie was speaking. I just can't find it. It's very difficult to search Charlie Kirk right now and to go back. So I'm going to continue to build this timeline, but you're getting the picture here. Let's keep going. So yes, that plane comes in here.
I just cannot take this serious. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not going to rage quit. Somebody said I was going to rage quit. I am not going to rage quit. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to say thank you so much for the $10 super chat. This isn't just Candace. This is Satan doing what he does best, attempting to destroy what God builds. He's the accuser of the brethren. This is what we're doing. And again, I don't look, Sean Foyt, I got videos about Sean Foyt. He's a heretic of the highest order. He doesn't deserve this. He needs to repent and turn to Christ, turn away from that NAR foolishness. But this right here, what we're watching right here, is grade A, uncut Colombian foolishness. That's what we're watching right here. Shout out with the $5 super sir. Sir K with the $5 says that she's trying to dismantle TP faith because it's not led by Catholics. She's also saying that everyone except jihadis and Catholics wanted Charlie gone. Shout out. Thank you so much. Very clear observation. Shout out. And Rena right here with the $5 super. No question, no comment, just unadulterated love for the game. Thank you so very much for that. I appreciate it. Y'all. This is embarrassing because the candies are sitting there eating this slop up. This is ridiculous. Just because the plane was in wherever it was, and she's cobbling this together, that the plane is following her, or following Charlie, or following TP. That is some crazy work, y'all. Okay.
And then I have here on April 9th that Charlie is in Omaha, Nebraska, speaking at the Lord of Hosts Church. So he's doing TPUSA faith stuff in general. And then we get our blue plane. Our blue plane comes in. Our blue plane, remember, is the one that whenever it's here, it's going to sit for a little bit, and it sure does sit for a little bit on April 19th. It goes to Provo. It comes in from Cairo via Paris. It makes a stop in Salt Lake City and then goes on to Provo. That is April 19th. Okay. Lo and behold, BTT is then going to come in from Cairo via Paris through North Dakota.
Do you think she's thinking, like, as she's saying this, like, what in the heck am I talking about? Do you think she's thinking that? Because I would be thinking that, like, what in the heck am I doing? What am I talking about? She's got to be thinking that. I'm sorry. I just can't think that she's thinking anything else but what in the Sam Hades am I talking about?
To Provo, the planes are together again. They're meeting up. They're kind of tracking each other, and who's in the area, who's in Utah at the same time. Of course, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is doing a Salt Lake University event. Sorry, it's not Salt Lake University. It's the University of Utah at Salt Lake City. I think that's correct. So he is doing an event at Salt Lake at the University of Utah. It's a Prove Me Wrong event. Charlie Kirk is here, of course. And then we have that BTT. That's our yellow plane, departs on April 28th. Charlie's event is over, so we can move on. Also have here that Charlie spoke in North Dakota, so he's in the area. And then on July 17th, our blue plane is going to leave, right? It always lags behind our yellow plane. Now let's get into 2025. This is the year Charlie gets assassinated, right? I don't know.
What if there was... I just can't, man. I really think that we're being punked, y'all. I'm sorry. I think we're being punked. I think we're being punked. Candace knows that the best live chat on the internet is over here. She knows that we're going to be watching this, making fun, and we're playing bingo. Matter of fact, let me make sure. She knows we're over here playing bingo, and she just wants to punk us. I think we're being punked out, man. I don't think this is real. I think this is all a game. I think this is all a game. There you go. Random text message. Shout out to random text message. She has not said Trump at all. So you know what? Trump, I don't want Trump to be alone. I want him to be okay. So there we go. There's Trump right there as well. I think she's making fun of us, y'all. I think that's what it is. Candace is playing us. It's a troll. She's being a troll. That's what I think's happening. Hold on one second. I think my audio just dropped. One second. I think Candace is being a troll. That's what I think's happening. Y'all prove me wrong. She's a troll and she's trolling us. That's what's happening. That's what's transpiring, is we're being trolled by Candace. Candace is trolling us. She's trolling you, boy. All right, real quick. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Don't know what this plane is doing. I don't know who's on the plane. I do know that if Tulsi Gabbard or Joe Kent is potentially watching this, or if they are, as they have stated, or as the public figured out, being blocked from Kash Patel, you should be able to look into these flights and see who is on these manifests, and it is going to be extremely relevant. I'm telling you, it is going to be extremely relevant, and my best guess is that they are going to try to hide that or lie about it, and I'm wondering if these planes potentially maybe had some Americans on them, because that would be incredibly relevant. Anyways, get into 2020.
This poor woman keeps thinking. The bad thing is that she thinks that the actual FBI and Department of Homeland Security and all these other people are actually watching her show and not just laughing. They're not just watching their show because they want to get a good belly laugh, a good belly workout. So they watch this to laugh. She thinks they're watching it to actually like respond and treat this like it's serious, but they're watching it because they're trying to get six-pack abs for the summer. They're trying to get ready. They're working out during the winter to prepare for the summer. I feel sorry for her that she really thinks people take her seriously. Y'all, that's sad. That's really sad that she thinks people taking her seriously.
5 here. We're going to start with just the planes don't come in at all in the beginning. This is me just putting down Charlie's schedule. May 23rd is the first time one of the planes come in, and that is the blue plane. The blue plane sits and it stays for a while. And I'm going to say that to us, when we looked at this, it appeared to be a legitimate maintenance stop, like that they came in because there was just some test flying that was happening around that time. I don't know for certain. Obviously, we're building upon this timeline, but the blue plane, our lag plane, gets into Provo on May 23rd. Okay. I'm going to keep with this timeline. You can see in June of 2025, by the way, is when the article broke. Sean Foyt is credibly accused of having been involved in fraud and embezzlement. There are multiple organizations that are binding together to say that he's immoral, he is unethical, that he has shady financial activities, he's misrepresented his ministry activities, ceaseless financial solicitation they accuse him of, intermingled with grand visions, which has led to untold financial gain and a steady stream of unpaid labor from volunteers. Starting to sound a little bit familiar here. And they make statements that he was purportedly using, I'm going to say this is allegedly, I'm reading this from the article, using business credit cards for personal expenses. He diverted donations to personal accounts. He inflated the prices that were paid to vendors. He's using ministry funds to rent his own cabin in Montana for the ministry board meeting. I mean, there's all of these allegations that are coming from him. And by the way, even people who formerly worked at Turning Point USA say the same thing, that there's something not right about Sean Foyt. Despite all of this, and this
that doesn't mean that he is involved in Charlie. I don't think Sean Foyt is a heretic. Sean Foyt is a problem. I don't like that he was involved with TPUSA or TPUS Faith or whatever. That does not mean that he had anything to do with Charlie's unaliving. Ma'am, this is embarrassing.
Breaks down the very many properties that they say are owned by him. Very expensive properties, by the way. There's always going to be a real estate there's almost going to be like a real estate theme and what we're going to discuss later. They're breaking down like this guy owns a ton of properties. He's moving a lot of properties.
You know who else owns a ton of properties, Candace, and has a lot of issues, a lot of issues with immorality and stuff like that? That's right, the Catholic Church.
That's interesting to me. When the money is looking funny and you see that people own a lot of properties, you should be interested.
You should be interested in Catholic
allegations against him, but I'm going to make some broader allegations that when I started piercing this layer of the Mormon church, I was like, is this a church or is this a real estate empire? Never seen so many real estate transactions in my life. People that were paying cash more than what the property was worth. And I'm going, when I see.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I got to back it up. Did y'all hear what she said? Hold on. Let me back that up just a little smidgen. Did you hear what church she said? Did anybody hear that in the chat? Yeah, like your husband's worth $200 million. What about that? What about that? Yeah, I did. I'm here to cause chaos tonight. I did say that. Did y'all hear what she said? Yeah, somebody saw it. I saw it right there. Hold on. Where is it? It's going too fast. She said the Mormon church. Wait, hold on. She said the Mormon church. Wait, what is y'all commenting too much? Y'all commenting too fast. All right, let's go.
Piercing this layer of the Mormon church, I was like, is this Mormon a church or is this a real estate empire? Never seen so many real estate transactions in my life. People that were paying in cash.
So what about the Catholic Church? Catholic Church, the exact same thing is true.
Paying cash more than what the property was worth. And I'm going, when I see this much real estate being purchased in cash, I know a thing or two about money laundering. It's a good business to be in, is all I'm saying, right? It's a good business to be in. And I got to be honest, these mega churches are looking a little funny, okay? They're looking.
The irony of what she just said is crazy. The irony of what she just said is insane. The Catholic Church owns more property than probably any other entity on the planet. That is wild work, what she just said.
Looking a little funny. What was it? Joel Osteen, like the plumber was fixing a toilet and found like $1 million in the hole. Do you remember the story? Mega church pastor Joel Osteen, his church. I think it was, I got to pull it up if you can find it, Skylar. The plumber's like, hey, I'm here to fix the toilet, and finds that actually there's like almost $1 million of cash in one of the walls. And I think Joel Osteen issued a statement and was like, oh, well, you know, we are very surprised to see this. It's very strange. This is in the walls of our church. That's amazing. God has blessed us greatly for supporting Israel. I'm joking. He didn't say that. But I think the excuse that he gave, here it is, the plumber doing repairs, November 10th at the mega church, blah, blah, blah. There was a loose toilet in the wall. We removed the tile, and boom, 500 envelopes fell out of the wall. And I was like, oh, wow. And then the plumber contacted maintenance, and Joel Osteen's excuse was like, we had some money that was missing at the church. Here it is. No, I don't know. These pastors like tickle me now. It's like, I don't know. That's so crazy. That is so crazy.
Look, I'm not even a defender of Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen is hot trash, right? How is Joel catching strays, y'all? Come on now. Okay, let me see. There's some shout outs right here. What is it? Thank you so much for the $10 super. This isn't just Candace. I'm sorry, you just said that earlier, but I appreciate it nonetheless. This isn't just Candace. This is Satan doing what he does best, attempting to destroy what God is blessing or builds up. Thank you so much for that. Let me see. Did I miss where did I start? Right here. There we go. If you pay attention to our live chats, you're starting to see more and more people calling her out on her crap. Now, I don't watch her live chat, so I'm glad that is happening. Thank you for the $5 super. I don't watch her live chat. Her live chat is crazy. Has been crazy in the past. Slayer with the $10 super says this. There is a psychological tactic called Alice in Wonderland method, where you overwhelm with vague, chaotic info and it conditions the subject to grab the first defined explanation you present amidst the chaos, which is funny because that's the book that she was reading called Chaos. And she talked about this exact thing. I don't know if she called it the Alice in Wonderland method, but she talks about that in her discussion about her book club. Shout out to that. Thank you so much, man. What an interesting thought. Keeping it going. Phantom up in here at $5. Tulsi and the DNCTC were definitely in the wrong for looking into Charlie Kirk. All crime investigations are exclusively the FBI, and there's no role for intel. No, I agree. There's a lot of missteps in this for sure, but there are missteps, but that does not mean that what has happened or where we are right now is necessarily the wrong thing. Can we get more information? Absolutely. Shout out again to Lil Losty with the $10 super. How much money has she made off of Charlie Kirk's name since his death again? Yeah, better than, I'm going to go on a limb and say she's probably cleared easily $1.5 million, if not more. Just in supers and YouTube AdSense alone. Let's bring this back in. Let's go ahead. This woman is crazy, man. She got me defending Joel Osteen.
There you are, $1 million. I did not see you there. Happens all the time. Rich people problems, rich people problems. Just so much money. You got to put it behind a toilet. And he said that's what they thought maybe it was. To me, when I hear cash flowing like that, my mind goes to, and we're talking like a lot of these mega churches are always in California or Arizona, and I'm not saying this about Joel Osteen. I'm talking about the broader implications of cash being found in any place. I'm thinking the cartels, right? Like that's where my mind's at. I'm thinking cartel money is flowing through the border and could end up in a closet somewhere. Again, I'm not correlating that to Joel Osteen, but I do think the fact that money was found there is weird, and his excuse makes no sense. I will say that. Now, jumping back into our timeline, where was I just...
Do you think she knows where Joel Osteen's church is? I'm just wondering. Without looking, do you think she even knows where it is? That woman is embarrassing, y'all. Yo, her chat is crazy. Yeah, Joel is in the cartel now. Right. She's excusing the fact that she herself is rich. Like, ma'am, this is crazy work, man.
Now,
Wow.
we are, this is when things start to get a little spicy for Charlie Kirk, okay? So that's Sean Voight. That's June 2025. Money's looking funny, according to multiple people and organizations that have worked with him. Mark has made a note. No, that's incorrect, Mark. I checked this 3 times. You're thinking about, you're saying that, oh, sorry. Yeah, that's where we were just at now. Oh, okay. I will bump that. Okay. Mark is saying that the Lincoln chapter was opened. I had that in the wrong date. That was supposed to be in May of 2025. Okay, we'll get back to that. Let me just get through this. Okay. So we have Tucker Carlson then speaks in July 11th of 2025. This is a very big deal. Okay. Very big deal. Tucker Carlson gets on stage at Turning Point USA, and there is a donor panic, an absolute panic. He gives a speech. He calls out Jeffrey Epstein, right there. He's calling out Jeffrey Epstein. Dave Smith is speaking. They're talking about Israel being a problem. He's getting cheers from the crowd, right? This audience being like, yeah, no, why are we married to this like nation in the Middle East that happens to be committing a genocide? But he also says things like, people that serve in foreign armies should probably have their citizenship stripped, something along those lines. And he also muses about where Bill Ackman's wealth comes from. And yeah, it's just a speech, which, by the way, Charlie was the one who told him backstage, go hard at Israel, right? He's done. Charlie's done. He just is. That's just the reality, which is why it was crazy when people were trying to lie about this. I was like, this lie will not stand. And he's telling Tucker Carlson to go hard in the paint. Now, I know for a fact that when Tucker came off stage, one donor immediately, a woman who I have not named yet, instantly started yelling at Charlie. Charlie then gets the full donor squeeze. You are not allowed to be anti-Israel. This feels like a good time to mention that the last time that I spoke at Turning Point USA's conference in 2024, there was this random sidebar conversation that I had with Tyler Boyer. Tyler Boyer is the king of shady at Turning Point USA. He is the one, like I said, he has hired every person around Charlie. Joke's on you if you think Turning Point USA is a Christian organization. It's a Mormon one, okay? And Tyler Boyer said to me backstage,
Okay, I got to stop here because I said I wasn't going to say anything. No, Turning Point USA is a Catholic organization. If you do the look around, there are way more Catholics at TPUSA than there are Mormons or anybody else. Catch me outside if I'm wrong, if you disagree. No, there are entirely too many. So she's not going to beat those charges that, hey, there's a lot of Catholics around here, way more than there are Jews, way more than there are Mormons. There are a lot of Catholics in around that were around Charlie. She's gonna have to she can't beat those charges. I'm sorry. So I knew she was gonna say that dumb stuff.
There was something going on with like Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes. I can't recall. This is again 2024. And I said to him, why don't you just have Charlie debate Nick? Like the common sense thing to me is just like have the debate, right? It's not a big, it's like all of this. I think Nick had maybe come actually to the conference with like some people because he was doing that for a little bit. And I was like, why don't you just like debate him? Like, I don't know, I'm like pro conversation. And Tyler said to me, Turning Point USA will just always be pro-Israel. Like we're just never not going to be pro-Israel. Didn't think anything of it at the time, but in retrospect, it's kind of a weird thing to say. Like, what do you mean it will never be anti-Israel? What do you mean it will always be pro-Israel? That's just what we are. We're pro-Israel. What do you mean that's just what we are? You're supposed to be an organization that's dedicated to free speech. And what comes with free speech is the ability to think freely, the ability to process the information that is being spoken to you and to think freely. You care about free markets, which I think actually relies upon free speech to have free markets. I don't think the markets are free right now. And so I'm just trying to understand this concept that Turning Point is just never going to not be pro-Israel, actually, in the retrospect. And so if we fast forward a year later, Tucker Carlson's on the stage and his hype boy, his hype man is Charlie Kirk. And he's like, just hit him hard. And he goes out there and he hits them harder than anything. And suddenly there's an explosion, right? And they're really angry. They are very angry. Josh Hammer is angry. Seth Dillon is angry. Far be it from them to ever tell the truth about that. These people were going to lie. Oh, he never blinked. And we were just his greatest supporters. Bob Shillman is angry. And they're basically saying, Charlie, this can never happen again, and you have to be pro-Israel. That's kind of the vibes that they're putting down, okay? That happens July 11th, and now our plane is coming back from Egypt.
Where's your evidence, Candace? Where's your evidence? You're saying this and it sounds whatever, but where's your evidence to that point? Where is it? We just want to know. Like, this makes no sense. And somehow or another, there's BB right there. See, she mentioned BB right there. This is crazy work, y'all. I'm still muted? No, I'm back. Okay. All right, let's go.
Just 9 days later, it goes through Omaha, Nebraska. At 11:37 a.m., it departs and it heads over to Lincoln, Nebraska, and it stays there for 6 days. I would love to know, and again, anybody who has the ability to pull the files, maybe you just work at the airport. I really would like to know who was on that plane. I think this July 20th date is very important. Very important, okay? I think the post-TPUSA conference dates are critical to what happened here, okay? Then Charlie speaks to New York, and after that, he heads up to New York in the Hamptons, and Charlie Kirk himself, described it as an intervention. Seth Dillon is lying through his teeth. Okay?
Where did he say it? Where did he say it was an intervention? We've never seen anything that said that, Candace. Where did he say it? Prove us, show us where he said it was an intervention. If you show us that he said it, then he said it. But where is this evidence?
Pushing Charlie on his views on Israel. Charlie himself described it as an intervention that was staged over his viewpoints on Israel.
Where?
Okay? And maybe they were going to see if they could fix him. You know how every episode of Intervention ends. They ask you if you want to go to rehab because they love you. Okay, they read the letters. Charlie, I remember you. You were so brave. You were so brave, and you loved Israel, and you understood that your job is to be a good little goy and do what we say. I miss you. Do you want to go to rehab? But that phone call wasn't coming in from mom or dad. It was coming in from Bibi Netanyahu. And that's kind of terrifying, actually. Bibi Netanyahu is like pretending to be your friend. Hey, come to Israel. And how do we know that happened? Because Bibi told us himself. So this is not in dispute, right? Bibi raced out of the gate to establish Charlie Kirk as like Israel's top goy. And he said probably too much. He said he called him 2 weeks ago and he invited him to Israel. And the part that he left out was Charlie declined. So when he got the phone call to go to figurative rehab, Charlie said, no, I'm good, actually. Bibi offered to fund Turning Point to the next level, okay? Andrew Colvett should be able to confirm that, yes or no. Don't dance around it. I don't like the dancing. Him and Alex did, oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to leave my mic on. Anyway, she doesn't give us any evidence. She wants them to say something. She just, hey, I'm going to say something bombastic. You have to prove what I'm saying, which is bombastic, isn't true. That's crazy work, man. That is the craziest thing. Like, how do you think that they have to answer to you, Candace? Where is your evidence? Where is your evidence? We heard you say that Bibi offered him, what, $150 million? Which is crazy work, by the way. We heard you say that, but where's your evidence that that happened? Where is it? Ignorant.
Oh, this boa. It's a yes, okay? Take it to the next level. With what money, though, actually? It is relevant, and it is true that Charlie did not know where the money was coming from. That's why he established Doge, okay? He did not know where the money was coming from or where it was going to. That sounds to me like a very sophisticated money laundering operation could have been happening under his nose. Now, I'm not a forensic accountant. I am saying this so that those of you who are forensic accountants can go do what you do and figure out, for Charlie, establish the internet Doge, okay? Where was the money coming from and where was it going to? And then my Turning Point insiders tell me the money was indeed looking funny, okay? It was just a lot of money coming in really fast, then going out really fast. And I can tell you what it sounds like. We don't have any facts on that. We only have just a sense of Charlie's emotion at the time. He says, no, Bibi, I don't know maybe where this money's coming from. I'm good. I'm not going to go to rehab in Israel, and I'm not going to take your money. Charlie says no, okay? And what happens next after the Hamptons retreat is that
now it's called a retreat.
I didn't put.
Now it's called a retreat. So the Hamptons was a retreat or an intervention, because if it were a retreat, that rhymes with what respectfully, what's his name, said, and others who went there said. Candace wasn't there. This is crazy work, y'all.
This on August 17th. I missed this. BTT comes in. Is that BTT? Stays for 6 days. Yeah, because I went back to Cairo. BTT, that's our yellow plane, comes into Nebraska and again does that trip into Lincoln immediately. And again, I think these trips are very important. Okay. Turning Point USA insiders. I know some of you guys are becoming more and more courageous. what was going on in Nebraska, what's going on at the Lincoln chapter, how did the Lincoln chapter come together? I think you were making a note that was supposed to be in 2025. The Lincoln chapter came together. Is that what you were saying, Mark? Okay, so I'll edit that in our updated timeline so that you guys are watching this and update that in your timeline. What is going on in Lincoln, Nebraska? I feel like something very relevant is happening here. Then we have, of course, the final time that that plane comes in, and that before Charlie's assassination, rather, it comes in on September 4th. It heads to Minot, North Dakota, and then it heads directly there to Provo, and it lands in Provo on September 4th at 12:46, and it was a full plane. Okay, that's what we can say. It was a full plane, according to a person overseas who had intimate knowledge, and I think the information is solid. And it was not a full plane when it departs the morning that Charlie is assassinated.
But the person told you it was 18 people on the plane, though. How do you know that that person is correct? How do you know the information is solid? How do you know that? And the fact that you're sitting there chasing after a phantom of a plane, this is crazy work, y'all. And she's putting a lot of information out there for her Candies to go after. That is wild work, y'all.
So working with that, what's going on here? What's going on here?
That's what we've been asking you for an hour.
3 days later, bringing that back up on September 13th, our blue plane, which it trails, is going to leave through Canada, as it always does. It's going to leave Provo. It's going to go through Canada, through Paris, and back home to Cairo 3 days following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Did that plane perhaps have the rest of the people that were left behind? What is going on? I want to know. One more thing that I want to mention to you. And Skylar, I actually didn't tell you.
Oh, poor Skylar.
I want to make sure that you pull up just what I want you. Okay, under the notes from me, Charlie, because this is stuff that we're working on. I mean, Charlie, goodness. The notes from me, Skylar, it says 2 jets that landed from Arizona into Provo, because we started tracking those jets, because I think the planes are going to tell us a story. If you could just copy that, and from there up into the 9/11, yeah, that'd be great, so that they can see that. We started then looking at the planes that day, and something that struck us as actually, Charlie, Charlie, goodness, Skylar, if you could just delete the name of the agent is the only thing I would delete, because it's not relevant for them. I mean, it's obviously public information, but we don't want this person to get inundated. Anyway, so
now you don't want the person to get inundated. You've just drug all kinds of people into this mix, whether they've done anything or not, just because you don't like them. Good gracious.
There were 2 planes that we could find that right after Charlie gets shot, scrambled, and from Scottsdale, Arizona, we're trying to figure out, who came in. And something that caught us, something that we think is interesting, is that the tail number 940JD, right, had a day where they went up from Scottsdale in the morning. And I think it was, if you want to bring that up, Mark, at 7 o'clock in the morning they left. You want to pull it up? That's N40JD. I want to say it leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh, no, that's the other tail number. Just kidding. The G5 plane. Okay, switch that. This is why he needs to bring this in. Tail number N102DZ. We'll have it up in a second. N102DZ we're interested in, because at 7:12 a.m. in the morning in Scottsdale, so that's local time in Scottsdale, it flies from Scottsdale to Salt Lake City. So instantly I was like, oh, this could be Charlie's plane. But then, why would Charlie fly into Salt Lake City? No, he would fly into Provo, obviously, because Salt Lake City is 60 miles away. You don't fly private so that you can then take a 60-mile car, unless there's some reason that you would have to, like the airport was closed. And I don't think that's true. Maybe it is. You guys can let me know. But this plane flew from Scottsdale and then landed in Salt Lake City at 9:23 a.m. local time. And then Charlie gets shot at 12:23, and this plane scrambles. And it leaves Salt Lake City, and it heads to Scottsdale at 1 o'clock p.m. So that's pretty quick, but coming from Salt Lake City doesn't make sense to me. So I'm thinking this had on somebody, but why did they go to Salt Lake City? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Why are you assuming that you're already assuming that what you're thinking is correct? Again, ma'am, there's a whole bunch of other things that happened with 10 minutes after Charlie died, an hour, 3 hours, the next day, four days before, 10 minutes before. There's all kinds of things that happen that you could kind of stitch together into this patchwork of insanity. But ma'am, because you stitch it together doesn't mean that it's a quilt. Because you stitch it together doesn't mean that it's right. This is embarrassing. And I know there are people reading this thing what is this, Flight Radar 24, and it is going all through it, being all Columbo, feeling like they're about something, but it doesn't matter. So clearly anything that happens on the planet during the time that Charlie Kirk was 5 minutes before and 15 minutes after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, all that stuff is up to grabs. Girl, please. Somewhere across town, there was somebody, again, burning a waffle at the Waffle House. Do they got Waffle House over there? I don't know. But again, like, ma'am, this is embarrassing.
And so that G5 plane then gets back to Scottsdale at 1 p.m. local time, right? Because they're going to gain time going backwards. And then they are only on the ground for 15 minutes. They turn around and they go right back to Scottsdale. It's possible this plane picked up Erica. It's possible this plane picked up. There's a lot of people that were coming in. I think there's like, I don't know Mikey McCoy's wife's name. I think she said she was there. Mikey McCoy was there. I don't know who was on this plane. But I'm wondering about that first trip, not even the second trip. It makes sense that you would obviously go pick up people. We know people were racing there. Everyone has told the story 1,000 times. But why was this plane in Salt Lake City in the first place? That's what I'm interested in, I guess, if that makes sense to you guys. No, and that is what we have been working on. All right, we are going to take a break here quickly, and then we'll be right back.
Yo, this is embarrassing, y'all. I mean, the fact that she thinks she's cooking, y'all, this is going to be studied by science. The amount of delusion that this poor woman is exuding is probably choking her office. Like they're dying. We got to throw them a life vest because the ignorance that she's exuding is killing people. Well, how in the world do you sit there honestly and say that this is journalism? All speculation, no foundation whatsoever. Just theories, throwing them out there, trying to find a correlation. TPUSA did this. A plane was, again, she's making it sound like the plane is literally following. Yo, that's embarrassing. Shout out. Thank you so much, Ruben, right here with the $10 super. What does Ruben say? Her sources are literally Ian Carroll, Ryan Matt, and Village Crazy Lady. They are literally on lockstep right when her episode ends and send out the same post. See? Again, crazy people stick together, man. This is bananas, y'all. The fact that she thinks this is cooking, yo, this is crazy work. I cannot wrap my mind around why she would see this as anything but a bad series of coincidences, a bad series of piece of information that she's trying to jam together and make them work into this kind of tapestry of crazy that she's exuded. This is wild, man. I mean, again, college course is going to be written about how not to do journalism. This is it right here. We're watching a college course on not being able to do journalism formulating right here. All right, let me see what I got. Shout out to, she's back. She's back. Her ad read was really short today. I wonder what that was about. I wonder why it's so short. Why was her ad read so short? What do you think?
Is compelling to me, and something that came, and again, this is opinion. I didn't cover it because it's opinion, but really? A lot of people felt at Turning Point USA, and I mean a lot of people, as in the wonderful people that work for the organization that are not at the top, right? And they felt that Mikey McCoy was kind of being positioned to take over for Charlie Kirk. And I never again covered it because, feelings are not facts. But given the picture that we now have.
Wait, hold on. How did feelings not become facts? Man, that's all you share. Here, I'm going to go. I got to go with that. Did she say I'm asking questions? I feel like she did. Did she say I'm just asking questions? This woman is insane. This woman is a trip, y'all. And yes, I do have bingo multiple ways. And yes, I'm trying to get blackout. Feelings aren't fact. That's crazy work that she said that. She did say weird. Yeah, she said weird several times. Yeah, absolutely. This is insane, y'all. And the fact that she thinks she's cooking, her kids are gonna be malnourished. That's why she gotta make her husband a sandwich, because she can't cook. She can't cook. Let's go.
Of his father and what his father is involved in, and the fact that Charlie was kind of veering from what I think was a predetermined course for Turning Point USA. I have a lot of questions. Also, another person who wrote us was telling me the story about Tyler Boyer's involvement in like Maricopa County politics in general. Like, what did he do before in Arizona? And yeah, it's just the kind of stories, again, that he said he approached him several times about embezzlement. You know, not Charlie, Tyler was hooking up with young interns, young male interns, or young male workers, and he didn't even care. He's like, I will go on record because all this happened, and I had the proof that all this happened, and everybody knows about.
Wow, she just called that man out. Wow.
Turning Point USA. It's like an absurdity. But this is the person that is putting people into places of power at Turning Point USA. Like he's just involved. And something that was interesting is also how many Russian speakers there are. I was telling you, like UVU, there's just a lot of Russians and people who study Soviet studies. Even the president of UVU majored in Soviet studies. Tyler Boyer majored in Soviet studies. He's a fluent Russian speaker. He spent years. And I'm going to assume when I say they speak Russian, that they're probably more tied to Ukraine, like kind of coming full circle on that, because a lot of times people wrongly.
But you don't know that. You don't know that. Wow. She's just literally saying, I'm going to say this. Did she say feelings that don't supersede facts, or facts are greater? What did she just said? Yo, she just said, I'm just going to say this. Man. Wow.
People who speak Russian are Russian. And actually, Ukrainians, until they like made it a law, they had to stop speaking Russian quite recently, were Russian speakers, right? Because it's Russia and it's their home. So it's interesting to consider that there are a lot of, I think even Mikey McCoy's wife might be Ukrainian. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's something that I think is interesting as well, or could be interesting. It might not be interesting, but definitely on the Tyler Boyer front,
it's not interesting how many Catholics are in TPUSA. It's not interesting how much land and property the Catholic Church, quote unquote, owns. It's not interesting or strange how much money comes into the Catholic Church. Just all this other stuff that you want to throw out. Okay, got you. Okay, I understand completely. I understand.
Very interesting that he was involved with orphanages in the Ukraine, posted about helping Russian-speaking orphans or whatever it is years ago. Like I'm talking like 10 years ago. I just don't like it. I don't like it. The vibes don't feel right. What was going on? Why was Turning Point, what was their campus doing? Why are people at Turning Point saying they don't know where the money's coming from? Why is no one seem to be grieving him in the right way? Why does it feel to me like a hostile takeover of a company? That's how I personally feel. Okay, that's how I feel. I feel this is a hostile takeover of a company. And I feel that the company became bigger than Charlie because Charlie was too ambitious, and Charlie trusted people, and he trusted that people were in it for the right reasons. And what I have learned in politics is people are hardly ever in it for the right reasons, truly. If you are getting into...
So are you in it for the right reason, Candace? Hold on. I got it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you leaks. If you need leaks, you can have it. All right. She's been talking about it for the longest. She's been saying it, dancing around it, gut. She's been using it, but she just didn't want to say it. So I'm going to go ahead and say it on her behalf. Okay. What is grieving the right way? I don't know. I have no idea. But since nobody's actually talking to Candace, I don't know if anybody's ever going to know like what is the right way. Because remember, the right way is according to Candace. This is insane. Yo, this is embarrassing that this woman is up here on the Lord's internet talking this kind of craziness, y'all. Come on. What does CU say right here? He says she seems unsure and uneasy this episode. You know what? CU, thank you so much for that $2 super. And I think because the way you said that, I do believe that you are calling out. I think what you're saying, but you're not saying it, but you really mean it. I think you're saying that she's betraying what we expect her to do. She's betraying us. CU, that's what I think. I think she's betraying us. Do you agree? Green hearts in the chat if you agree. She's betraying what we expect from her. It's like she doesn't even care about us. This is sad, man. This is sad.
Into politics, you think you're going to meet good people, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. In fact, if you have a lot of friends in politics, I probably already know that I can't trust you because I know what it takes to keep friends in politics. Friends of Charlie Kirk, look what they're doing. Cash Patel, Charlie had him on his show. Cash Patel should be the FBI director. He fought for that. Look how Cash Patel is acting. Right? 33 hours, wink, wink, Freemasons, wink, wink, wink. Oh, Tyler Robinson's file adds up to 33. Oh, the Freemason Lodge in St. George or in Utah is number 33. It's like, we get it, okay? This was an assassination at a very high level, and they do communicate with numerology. And if this sounds above your head, it's probably because you're not in my book club. But it is.
She's talking about numerology. This is the woman that talks to dead people. Ma'am, have a seat. Have all the seats up here in front of the church, Candace. Like, are you for real? Yo, I got it. Hold on. I got to give, you know what, man? Come on, y'all. I got to. Candace, you know what, though? That's some Kanye West right there. If you need Kanye West, you can have Kanye West. Ma'am, that is some crazy work right there. I can't believe she's saying this stuff out of her own mouth. This is wild.
Just to me, the most sinister and sickening thing that these people can lay their heads on the pillow at night and they were just going to keep going. Okay. I feel a lot is adding up and that more people need to look into Turning Point Faith. They need to look into NAR. Again, I would follow Village Crazy Lady on X. She's fantastic at research, and she has been keeping them on their toes with research, and that is the area that she wants to go down. I can only chase so many rabbits, and I think what we have an understanding of is an apparatus that was about anything but faith, okay? I think actually, when I now look at the picture and I'm learning more about Rob McCoy and knowing that he was the co-chair in 2024, or maybe in 2023, of Turning Point USA, they believe, and this is why the Christian Zionism thing becomes so important, that they can hijack our emotions and tell us that it's our biblical duty to support the state of Israel, because I think the state of Israel is probably involved in what is happening at the border, in what is happening overseas. It is definitively involved in all these wars. I mean, everywhere you look, Israel pops up. It doesn't matter if you're talking about Congo. They'll be like, well, look at what the Christians being slaughtered in Congo. Oopsies, Dan Gertler, the diamond thing. How are they number one in the diamond trade? They don't live in a place with diamonds that grow. So, like, I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, what are we talking about
that is a great
with
question.
this nation? What are we talking about?
What are you talking about? Y'all put what are you talking about in the chat? What are you talking about, Candace? My gosh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She done made Israel is responsible for the border, y'all. She didn't put. Now, notice she talked about the Congo. She did not. She happened to dance around Nigeria. I thought that was interesting. I thought she was going to mention Nigeria. Y'all, this woman is she's undone. She's undone, man. We are watching a woman who is undone. She's undone.
Charlie was a Christian Zionist because he believed that was true. And I actually believe it is a perversion of scripture. And I am begging you all, those of you who go to these mega churches, those of you who are evangelical, who follow these evangelical influencers, you are probably noticing about now that they are mum on the topic of Charlie Kirk. They want to move on. They want to let it be known that it's just a trans shooter. Not one of them is standing up and going, no. I spiritually feel that something is wrong. We all.
But ma'am, that's your own opinion. She just said she believes it from scripture. I want her to explain to me from scripture her point. I would love for her to do that. Make your point from scripture and help us see if you are so concerned that these pastors are not saying whatever you want them to say. How about you make your case from scripture, Candace? This woman is undone, y'all.
Feel but something is spiritually wrong, and yet these people are trying to tell you if there's nothing to see here. That needs to be your wake-up call. If there is going to be a turning point, it is not going to be the one that they expected. Okay, I sense that. There will be a turning point, but it is not going to be the one they were banking on, where a bunch of Christians are sold slop and are told that it is.
Is it fair to say that was that a hunch? Was that a hunch, y'all? Can we agree that was a hunch? Green hearts in the chat if you agree. That was a hunch. She was making a hunch. I think it's fair to say that. I think it was. What did I say? Right. I want her to make her case from the scriptures. Convince me from scripture, and then I will join you. Convince me from scripture. Okay, there we go. Some green hearts in the chat. You agree. There's some people that agree this was a hunch. I think she's making a hunch, y'all. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like the amount of just patchwork cobbling together. I mean, there's whole quilting societies that do not put together this many random pieces. If you're a quilter and you get your little quilting club together, y'all don't put together as much craziness as what Candace just did. This is insane. Okay, Jason, let's finish up, man. Don't stop anymore, Jason. Bring it back in and just let it get done. Just go.
That it is their God duty to support the nation of Israel while looking away from the fact that they're acting real weird in the hours after Charlie's assassination.
So is the
doing
Catholic
way
Church.
Too much. Man is cartwheeling to tell you they had nothing to do with it.
So is the Catholic Church.
They are asking you to set aside your instinct, your gut instinct, your God instinct. You recognize something is wrong. That's why you're watching this show. You are recognizing that the people around Charlie are not acting in the way that they should be acting.
We're watching it out of pure, unadulterated comedy. We want to have six-pack abs this summer. So we're watching this to laugh at you, Candace. We don't take you seriously. I'm not holding my pastors accountable for any of the foolishness that you're talking about. I am here, Candace, for the grift. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you grift. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Happy Halloween. There you go. I'm giving you grift. Please tell me that you have gotten at least one bingo. Please do that for me. Does anybody else, you need demon possession? Oh, then you need demon possession? I totally believe that we're looking at a demon possession. There we go. Shout out. This is crazy work. If she just says, I'm just asking questions, I'm going to scream. This is insane. This is not any kind of logical research. This is not how journalism works. This is not how investigations work. This is not even how, I don't even want to say this is even how podcasting works, Brand Out Loud. Good night. Okay, finish up, Jason. Don't you stop again, Jason.
Acting, that their emotionality is not meeting the moment of violence that we all witnessed. Instead, they're turning on me. They're making videos about me for investigating. They're lying to you about where Charlie was on his faith journey. That's hush hush. The Catholic thing must stay hush hush. Why? It's all kind of adding up, right? They're attacking Tucker Carlson.
I know I said I was going to stop. Why don't you prove what you're saying? You're just saying it, Candace. You're just saying it. You have given no proof to their point. You're saying where he was. So again, he's going from trusting in Christ and Christ alone to praying to Mary. Prove it. Prove it. There's all these Catholics in TPUSA. Some of them should have been enabled to prove this for you.
Because he's attacking Christian Zionism. They're angry at Charlie because it's looking like he might get off the Christian Zionist reservation, because that's what it is, okay? That's a plantation. And what they are mining is your emotion. What they are mining is your belief in God. And there's no question in my mind. It is corrupt, but it is also dangerous. It is dangerously corrupt. And I think that Charlie learned this lesson the hard way. I'm appreciative to all of you guys who are sending me emails. You're worried about my safety. Please stop sending those, okay? I understand what I'm doing. I have read my messages over and over again with Charlie, ones that I have not even revealed. And this, to me, feels like a Christ mission to wake up the world and make them aware of what snake it is that has wrapped around all of the nations. And it does so in the name of God. In the name of God, Christian Zionists are telling you to support.
Have y'all noticed today how much she's using the word God, Christ, church? She even mentioned scripture and Bible even. I believe she's mentioned it more today than she has any other time in the past. Faith, pastor, church. Isn't that interesting that she does that? Interesting.
For a nation, okay, that has mass murdered children. You can watch the videos. They're telling you to do this.
Watch the video.
Because it is your biblical duty. When are you going to wake up? Charlie Kirk, he was the #1 Zionist for a very long time, Christian Zionist for a very long time. Look at how they are treating him now that he is dead. They are lying on his name. You have to wake up, okay?
Where's your proof? Because otherwise you're lying on his name. Show us the proof that they're lying. What you do is you give the evidence. Shout out to Joe Pags. You put all the evidence out there. You don't just say, wait, trust me, bro. You put the evidence out there, Candace. I'm sure you learned this in one of your 3 years of college journalism courses. At least put the information out there. But you just say, keep trusting me, bro. There is no evidence. We've seen no evidence to the points that you're making.
to share this information with you to get you to wake up, because I think Charlie was right. I think there was something about me and him together, okay, that was, I don't know, like just meant to happen, you know, not in the way that some of you guys are interpreting that. The kid, he was literally my kid brother, but I mean, like, there was a higher calling to his assassination, which he knew was coming. He knew he was going to die. He knew, he said from the time he started Turning Point USA that his life was going to be short, and he knew.
I know I keep saying I'm gonna stop. I know I keep saying I'm gonna stop doing this, but notice in the past, she's always talking about vibes and energy, manifestations, the universe opening up. Today, she's using all the Christianese that she can find. Like she has like a word count, a Christianese word count that she has to hit in order to end the weekend. Isn't that interesting? Why today, the last day of the month, is she jumping literally every Christianese term she can come up with? I don't know. We're going to get the Rosetta Stone and draw the parallels and all that stuff. Why is it now? Because she has not been doing this. Before, it's Kanye manifesting energy, vibes, the feeling, my gut, blah, 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 blah. But now all of a sudden it's God mission, Christ, and such of that nature. Why is that?
Would be the one to fight for him. He knew that it was going to be me that was going to be the one that would fight for him. He knew that I would be his David, and it is that relationship that we described yesterday, the David and the Jonathan. He was my friend, okay? I watched him work, but more than anything else, I laughed with him. He was my friend. And you are not meant spiritually to watch your friend catch a bullet in the throat. And you've got two things after that happens that you can do, okay? You can run from it. You can run from it and say, I don't want to end up like him. Or you can fight like hell to find out who did it to him. And I have chosen option 2. All right? I'm going to take some of your comments after we get back from this brief break.
I think this woman is hilarious. I ain't going to even lie. The amount of comedy that she's unleashing right here, I mean, it's giving Cat Williams, it's giving your best comedian a run for his or her money. This is ridiculous. This is not journalism. This is not investigation. This is not piecing together. This is not, none of the above. This is all ego stroke at best. This is all performative at worst, right? There's no way you're not gonna beat those charges. You are not gonna get me to believe that this is actually something that she wants people to take her seriously. I just can't believe it. Happy Reformation Day. Absolutely. She's on 100% trying to hurt Erica. 100%. That's an interesting point too. All right, there's some great comments in here. Right. This is wild work, man. This is a crazy sentence. And again, we looked at it. I think there's part of the reason is because TPUSA turned on her and fired her. I think this is her get back. She's getting her lick back from that getting fired. That's what I think it is. There's no other way around it. I can't see any other reason why she's behaving in this manner, but we're going to see. She's about almost done. We're going to hear these little ego strokes from her audience, and then we're going to go back. Here we go. Shout out to the pre-record. Candace, do it. Yeah, like all this Christianese, all this lingo.
All right, guys, very quickly, because I am going to jump to a dinner reservation. Somebody made a comment, and thank you for that. Charlie actually did fly into Salt Lake City, so that was his plane, so that does make sense. They would have had information. I was wondering why he was in Salt Lake City, but apparently he had an interview with Restaurantology Summit, so you can ignore that tidbit. Comments from Stars saying, making sure I send a super chat today since the Zionists want to call you vermin for having so many supporters of truth. We love you, Candace.
Who calls
God
her
bless you and your
vermin?
family and your whole team. Thank you so much. Jill writes, I'm so disappointed in my pastor, Jack Hibbs. He was so close with Charlie, and yet he hasn't said nearly enough, in my opinion. Well, Jill continues, Christian Zionist loyalty to Jews and Israel seems to have replaced loyalty to God, the church, and the truth. Yeah, well, look, he's another big pastor, and I can tell you about Jack Hibbs. He was another person that PragerU was pushing to me, wanting me to interview him. I may have even interviewed him. I can't remember, but they were like, Pastor Jack Hibbs. And now I look at that, and I'm thinking that's part of an operation. That's likely part of an operation. All these people that they wanted me to platform, Lila Rose, Jack Hibbs, Tim Ballard. I look back on that stuff
Just
and I'm reflecting,
name
and I
drop it.
realize that, like I said, I had handlers and they were directing me to do things. I never really questioned things they were directing me to do until today. So Jack Hibbs was also a part of like Turning Point USA Faith events, and I am looking at Turning Point USA Faith sideways. especially because like he doesn't even care about the allegations against Sean Foyt. And what are they doing? It doesn't matter. We're just going to keep on continuing working with him. Rob McCoy. Alpaca Renee writes, God bless you, Candace. You're a warrior for such a time as this. Thank you for all the hours of digging to find the truth. I pray. Jeremiah 29:11 over you and your family. Thank you. Voiceless writes, I'd love to see how Google Trends line up with these flights, names of people who died in these shootings, shooters, etc. Well, as it turns out, one of those planes, I forgot to mention, and it's the second one, the blue plane, I believe, was Googled by Israel. The tail number for that plane was Googled by Israel on September 8th, 2 days before the assassination. So take from that what you will. Tim Morgan writes, Candace, check out Sean Foy and the allegations of financial ministry mismanagement online. And he and Pastor McCoy are planning a courageous Christianity tour to honor Charlie. I am really begging for the real Christians in this world to research these men, to watch this episode over and over again, to consider what I am telling you, that there has definitively been an infiltration and Christian Zionists are at the helm of it. And I understand I'm at war now with all of them. That's fine. Okay. I understood that I was at war the moment Charlie caught the bullet. Okay. I get that.
Wow.
I get that. And what could follow? It's got to be war, right? It's either total submission or war, and I'm not going to submit to these demons. Anyways, you guys, I'm sorry if I missed your comment. Norman Finkelstein, the interview with him, we bumped that because I felt this was so important to get out because we need to information share. That interview is going to release at 7 p.m. Eastern, so in about 30 minutes if you stick around. It's an amazing interview, and it's a timely interview given what I am saying to you about Christian Zionism. You need to wake up to what has happened in Gaza and what has actually been going on, and the scales may fall from your eyes as quickly as they fell from mine. On the topic of Israel, there's no justification. There definitively cannot be any godly justification for what they have done and what they have always done in Gaza. It is not new. It's not starting October 7th. Okay. This has been going on since they stole their land at gunpoint. It has been an effective Holocaust since 1948 by the legal definition of a Holocaust, which Norm Finkelstein will explain better than I do. And once you recognize the people defending that beyond this, you will start to look at them as possessed by some sort of a demon. And typically that demon is just money. Okay. They just want the money. And the Bible is explicit about that, right? You can't have both. And like I said,
what does it say?
God's chosen people do not endorse that. In fact, only Satan chosen's people could. Anyways,
that is,
we will see you guys on Monday.
That is some wild work, y'all. You can't have both. You can't have both. Is that what the Bible says? Like, I don't think Candace even knows what scripture teaches. She just knows that she's supposed to say something. It says something about sort of kind of something. Like, that is wild work right there. Real quick. What is it? That woman's wild. All right. She did not say the I know that I know thing. I'm very disappointed in that. I'm very disappointed in that, man. Oh, wait. Hold on. Something's happening.
I don't know, but I know. You know? I don't know, but I know.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate it. Man, I almost got blackout, man. Man, if only she had said something about questions. Hold on. Something's happening. Hold on.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Well, there you go. I got blackout. There you go. This game is ridiculous, man. Y'all, that woman sat right there and told y'all that this was so important that she had to put her dinner reservations on hold to come and share with us about planes and the coincidences of planes flying into various places that coincided with TPUSA's speaking. I just can't do it. I cannot take this woman seriously. I know y'all want me to take her seriously. I know. I've read the comments. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to take her seriously. There's no way. Like, why? All right, real quick. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. What did Avengers say? What did Avengers say here? He said, this is funnier than Candace Jeopardy. I don't know how that's possible. Candace Jeopardy was insane. But this is crazy work, man. Now I got stuff I got to work on. Now I got to add plane, a category for planes. Maybe I should do like a patchwork a conspiracy where you have to try to tie all these things together. That's crazy work. Shout out. Thank you so much for the $4 super. What does Slayer say here? Tempted to send her a convincing tip just to prove how gullible and vulnerable. I do not approve of that. Thank you for the $5 super. I do not, Slayer, approve of that. I do not approve of that at all. At all. Email me when you do it. All right, shout out. What does CU say? She seems unsure and uneasy this episode. Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of uneasiness. One, I think because she knew that what she was talking about was crazy. Like the whole plane thing and trying to make hay out of that. And she did it yesterday too. So I think it's like the plane thing is not landing where she thinks it should land. People are not like, okay, so what? Big nothing burger. I'm sure she's getting a lot of big whoop-to-do nothing burger comments. But then also, she's also trying to reference, she's trying to call quote unquote Christians to react and rally around her, and which is crazy work. And so I think she's just out of her depths. So I agree with you 100%. Thank you, CU, for that. Thank you so much, Losty, with the $5 super. Candace, we are infiltrating your book club. That's why we think it's all lunacy. I would love to see that book club. I would love to see some of her book club. I would. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about joining it just to laugh, but I would love to see it. And I do not approve of anybody going over there and copying videos. I do not approve of that at all. I do not. And you cannot email those links to me because you put in a Google Drive and you email it to me. I do not approve of that at all. At all. Thank you, Stephen Case, for the $20 super. Stephanie, please forgive me. It's evident that she knows her theories are nonsense, but she can't lose her audience, who is addicted to her insane diatribes, which I've heard this actually. This is not a new or novel idea. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for this. I hate to say this, but I hope TPUSA is considering legal action. There's no doubt in my mind that they are. There's no doubt whatsoever. But I do believe that notice each episode ratchets it up. So we started way back in the back, the day after Charlie Kirk died, right? And every episode since, she just gets more and more intel, more and more theories, more and more speculations and conspiracies. And I think they're so addicted to this sensationalism that they're just going to keep tapping in because it's those juicy bits, it's that gossip, right? Shout out. Thank you so much for that $20 super. We appreciate it. What does Slayer say here with the $2? I'm watching because I like bingo. Well, there we go. Shout out. Okay, I'm going to work on some new bingo words, by the way. Thank y'all so much for the $2 super. All right. Black Sigma comes up in here with the $5. Says, I wish somebody put an AI meme of Candace as a child speaking like a toddler. It was oh, you want that? It would be a laugh track. I have that. It's on my channel, actually. Or you mean Candace herself, or the child looks like the child is speaking like Candace, or Candace is speaking like a child? Let me make sure I got it right, because I have the kid and her holding the stack of money and stuff. Shout out for that, Sigma. Thank you so much. All right. Her and John Mappin, the donor, are both part of the Truth Seekers cult. Whoa. For a person who complains about foreign interests, her husband from England, along with John Mappin, what else is she hiding? That's a great question. Why is that? Now, that's a fantastic question. And thank you so much, Ruben, for the $10 super. How does she get past that? How do you beat those charges, Candace? Thank you so much. Faith in food allergies. Thank you so much for the $10 super. No question, no comment, just loving the game, and I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. What does CU say? I think she'd practice Santeria, to be honest. You know what? I think she would. And Santeria is like a Caribbean Catholicism that really focuses on the dead, like at a heightened level, if I'm understanding it correctly. It's something different. Okay, and I need a witness tree. And I won't share yet. Right. Like, how does this even work? I'm very interested. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. I want to do something because I told y'all on Halloween, I was going to tell you a story. So thank you all, everybody who jumped into the best live chat on the internet. If you're still here, I'm going to tell you a story. It's not a good story. I'm just going to tell you this right now. It's not a good story. But I said I was going to I mentioned it before, and I said I'll tell you a story. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a good story. So it doesn't end well. It's not a laugh. It's not a hearty har anything of that nature. It's just it's a story that I said I would tell y'all. So after I retired from teaching, left teaching for a while, I got a phone call from I started my studio, and I got a phone call from a young guy that was telling me about a job that he thought I would be good at. And I was overwhelmed, like, what? This is a real job? And here it comes, working at a funeral home. And I was selling funeral plots. And the only reason I did it, the only reason I was like, this is such an interesting, everybody's going to need it. And I said, this is such an interest. I was just overwhelmed with like, what in the world? Like, what is it like? What is it like? So not terribly far from my house is a really big cemetery. Like, you don't realize all the cemeteries that you drive by and funeral homes and stuff like that until you actually work at one. So I'll give you a couple of pre-build-up stories. So I went to interview at this funeral home. They don't smell. It's a very interesting position, and got the job to sell funeral plots. So basically, you're picking up the phone, calling people, telling them about, they've already inquired. Maybe they've used services before because of granddad, stuff like that. And you're just getting them to make the decision to make their arrangements ahead of time. And it's such like that. And let me just give you a spoiler alert. I was horrible at it. I just couldn't get my mind wrapped around it. So coming to the funeral plot business, and one of the things you have to learn is the cemetery. There's a rhyme and a reason to the cemetery. Like, I didn't know anything. It was so interesting to me. The only reason the reason I took the job is because it was such an interesting job. Like, how do y'all know where to put the bodies? And how do y'all, like, I had so many questions. And so me out here learning how to find where plots were, so that if you're telling a potential customer where their remains or where their loved one's going to be, you might need to walk them out there to show them. It was the wildest thing. I have no idea. Me and some friends of mine crack up laughing about that because we're like, yo, do you remember when you did that? And I did it for a whole 30 days. I was terrible at it. I had people come in. I couldn't do it. So the funeral home that I worked at was full service. So they did cremations. They had 3 chapels. So it was a pretty large facility here, and they could take care of, whatever. So one day, and this is kind of funny. I don't know how y'all feel about it. It's kind of funny. So a chapel looks kind of like a little small church, right? So one day this is probably my second weekend, and I was, had lunch, sat in my car, ate lunch, kind of drove around the cemetery to kind of get a gauge and understand where things were and stuff. And then I said, I'm kind of sleepy. So I went into one of the chapels, and I thought, because we have a meeting in the morning where they kind of go over what's going to happen for the day. And I was pretty sure that this chapel was going to be empty all day. So I just went in the back, sat in one of the pews, set my head against the wall, and closed my eyes. I think you probably, if you have a morbid sense of humor, you probably know what happened when I woke up. That's right. There was a resident. They had wheeled a resident in to the chapel. I had selected the wrong chapel. This one was going to be used, and they did bring a body in, and it was an open casket. And I opened up my eyes, and I was undone. I said, oh my gosh. It wasn't creepy or scary. It's like, yo, I didn't know. So hightailed myself out of there, to say the very least. And the next day, maybe, I think it was, I'm in the kitchen making me some tea, and one of the caretakers came in there and said, how was your nap yesterday? I said, man, you got me dead to rights. They did that on purpose, man. They saw that I went in there and closed my eyes, took a little sabbatical, took a little siesta, and they wheeled them in, even though, I mean, they were going, there was the chapel for it, but they didn't make any noise. They left me in there to be shocked and awed by that. I said, man, y'all low down. Okay, here's the last story, and I'm going to get out of here. And this is why I quit. This is, I mean, literally, I wasn't able to do it. And I told you all that I was going to tell you the story. And so I'll just tell you the story. And it's not a good story. I'm just going to tell you right now. It was, this is not a good story by any means or measures. So here in Atlanta, we drive really fast here in Atlanta. And sadly, here where I live in Cobb County, there was a high-speed police chase where a motorcycle was trying to get away from the police, and they sped away and they crashed into a car. The motorcyclist, I believe the motorcyclist survived, but they crashed into the passenger side of this vehicle, and the passenger did not make it. And it was a big news story here because, I mean, it was literally maybe 6 miles from my house. So it was a big story. Thankfully, and you probably know where I'm going with this. The passenger was a young girl. The passenger was a young Black girl. The passenger was 2 days older than my own 15-year-old. And so you heard the story on the news and all that kind of stuff like that. And we were talking about it in the office. There were 5 of us that were responsible for selling plots. And I was like, man, that was really bad about the little girl from the high school. It wasn't the high school that my daughter went to, thankfully. And one of the guys was like, well, she's downstairs, right? Because we were talking in the office, and I was like, man, I got a 15-year-old, and this little girl was like, they was just minding their own business, man. This lunatic crashed into him. He's like, well, she's downstairs, right? I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, their family came in. I don't remember what day it was. They came in to make arrangements. The little girl's downstairs. I quit. I quit on the moment. My wife was like, well, what happened, Jason? I said, no, I wasn't able to put that one together. I wasn't able to fix that one. I was like, wait, especially when I saw the picture of the young girl. I was like, because, of course, when I realized that the funeral was going to be coming up soon and her picture was actually in the building, I said, I just can't do this. So I told you the story was not good. I told you the story was not good, but I told y'all before, I said, I'm going to tell you a story on Halloween, and I want to be honest with y'all. So yeah, I left after that, and that was my last day working in a funeral home. But it's a needed service. And I will say this though, the people I worked with were all super nice, very nice. They weren't like strange or anything like that. Even the young people, when you're talking to a 26-year-old that's really into mortician science, you're like, why would you want to do that? They were all super nice people, but I was like, I couldn't do it after that event. So that was it. So and then I came back. Now I'm here. So now I'm talking to y'all all the time. So I told y'all I would tell y'all this story, and that was it. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thank y'all for playing bingo with me. Thank you for everybody that watched Jeopardy yesterday. I do encourage you. I will say this. Yesterday, and now I'm done. So now we can get back to, laughing and telling jokes, Jason. Yesterday, while we were playing Jeopardy, we had a gentleman by the name of Frank Stephen who lives in Nigeria. He lives in Nigeria. And if you're currently aware, there's a lot of genocidal activities going on in Nigeria. And we talked for a good little while about what's going on in Nigeria. And we're going to have him come on and talk about the true Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, because it's crazy work over there. And you don't hear a lot of talk about it. So I'm just giving you a heads up that he said whenever I wanted him to come on, he'd be more than happy to come on. I would love to have him come in and just kind of talk about his experiences living in Nigeria and knowing what's going on right there in 4K. And I do want to kind of counteract some of the heavy-handedness that we see when we're talking about Candaspiracy and such like that. There's other tragedies going on around the world. Let's talk about those and let's pray about them. So if you don't mind, I'll keep you posted on it so y'all can tap in and such like that. And then the very last thing is I am going to post up in a moment the link for my book read. We're going to be doing Pilgrim's Progress. And I just thought it would be good to read a book that's encouraging, especially if you have young readers or whatever like that. I thought this is a fantastic book. I'm a big fan. Don't lose my place. I'm a big fan of John Bunyan and Pilgrim's Progress. So we're going to be doing a book read starting on this Tuesday coming up at 7:00. I'll drop the link so you can register for it. It's free, but I'm using a webinar option that StreamYard gave me. And I just want to make sure that it works right. So I just want to make sure everybody registers and all that kind of stuff like that. And I have all the pages or sections or whatnot listed, because if you get certain books, they don't have the pages. I mean, they don't have the chapters like this one does and stuff like that. It might be different than mine, but we'll make sure that everybody at least knows where we're going to be when we're reading and talking about this and just having a good conversation. It's just going to be an hour, not going to be super long. We won't be playing bingo. We'll try to be as straightforward as possible. Just talking about some of the principles and the concepts and the themes of Pilgrim's Progress. So that'll be starting on Tuesday. I'll drop the link in a few moments in a community post so you can jump in and join us. So if you have the book, even if you don't have it, you can, or audio. Some people were asking about audiobook. Yeah, rock out. And as long as you know what we're talking about and you feel comfortable talking about it, audiobook or the larger book, whatever like that, however. So everybody, I want to say thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I appreciate. Wait, I did see another super. Thank you so much. What? Thank you so much. Faith and Food Allergies with the $5 super says this: prayers for our Christian brothers and sisters in Nigeria. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to having Frank come on and just tell us a story. I think he has a great story. We talked a little bit behind stage yesterday, and I would love for him to come up and chat with y'all about it and such like that. So I want to say thank y'all so much. Shout out to Trump. He did? Okay. I didn't know that. Was it on, was that Truth Social or Truth? Yeah, it's called Truth Social. Yeah, thank you so much, Tina. Is this the Amazon link? That's the Amazon link? Yeah. If you have the audio, it's fine too. And in the description of in the registration, it tells you what chapters we're going to be talking about each time we're reading. So yes, thank you so much, California Kev Man. There's genocide going on in Sudan as well. So I do want to talk about some of those other ones as well. And just give light to those and also encourage you all to pray about it. So I want to say thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to hang out with Chief Executive Second Born, see what she wants to do this evening and such like that. Y'all stay safe, and I will see you all very soon, Lord willing. Everybody have a great night. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.